Like, not, it really is. That's just...
Lovely. Oi, oi.
Hello, bro.
What's the fucking story? It's great to see you.
No, I said to him if you want to stop down, stop down.
Actually, I don't know what you texted me on though. I seen the
That's
message.
the camera up there anyway.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
What's the story?
Yeah, lads. What's the fun? Hey, see
Great
me,
to see
brother.
you.
Oh, you know, pal.
Oh, great
What's
to see
story?
you.
Curtis, nice to meet
Curtis,
you, bro.
Dylan, nice to meet you, pal.
Nice to meet
Sorry,
you.
it's about boys, pal. Okay, here you go, bro. What's the fun?
Hey everybody, welcome to Wrap It Up, Slap It Up. I'm Insane Wayne. I'm here with
Dylan Savage.
Casey.
Can't do man.
I'm Curtis.
Okay, so you are all part of a collective, yeah?
Yeah, so me and my mate Jimmy, who isn't here, we started up a collective called COLLECTIVEYEZ, and basically like what we wanted to do was the whole like motive and thing we're trying to do is to just like get like, you know, our younger friends, like, you know what I mean, and even the boys who have been trying to do it for a long time and they might have you know, encountered difficulties in doing it, like we're trying to get all of them together and basically make like our own little sanctuary, our own little like network and family of musicians, poets, singers, like, and you know, it's basically just trying to keep that hope and aspiration that you start off with, because you know when you start it, like you've nothing but just pure inspiration and drive to dwell in the land of music. Like, so what me and Jimmy and Curtis is also helping us now, like run the collective, and basically like the whole objective is to keep that inspiration going for the lads, like, and to motivate them and to educate them if need be, like on like how to go about things, like how to upload your music onto, you know, platforms, and how to organise events, and you know, if they have creative struggles as well, like that's what we're there for. And you know, just I wanted to set up, like I said, a little sanctuary, because like I think one thing is that like any creative in the world, I'm sure, can agree with this, is that like you'll always encounter those difficult moments within your endeavours, like, do you know what I mean, whether it be writer's block, or you know what I mean, you're stuck on maybe a beat, or you don't know which direction to go in, and it can be immensely tormenting for some people, and you know what I mean, and just even like learning about how to navigate your way through something, like, do you know what I mean, if you're starting to take things seriously and you know your name's getting out there and etc., like, you know, it can be difficult, it can be immensely difficult for some of us, you know what I mean. It was difficult for me, me and Roy, well, we had immense difficulty trying to learn these things, do you know what I mean. So that's what me and Jimmy kind of set it up for, was to be there for the lads and to educate them and inspire them to go further.
That's nice. It sounds like it's a lovely family vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when I started out writing stuff, I just did it on my own on my phone. You know, I'd have little lines written out, and I like trying to find someone who'd hear me out, but no, like don't really care, don't really wanted to hear it. I didn't have mates who was into that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have many mates at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was more of I felt pretty lonely out there. You know what I mean? You might find the odd person here or there, but it was never like a collective like that. So it's nice to see like a nice community like that. You know, I feel like there's not many about.
So everyone has to start somewhere, like, and most people, the problem is they don't know where they're supposed to start. So having other people that are all doing the same thing together, it's like,
You'll learn something.
I might know something, he might know something, and it's kind of, we can help each other and benefit each other that way, like.
Casey adopted us.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Casey adopted us.
I think though your experience with music like was the exact same as mine, and probably the same for you. Like I grew up producing and making beats, but like I didn't know one single other person that was into it, like, and it was always people from far away or on Instagram, and I was like reaching out to people looking for guidance and help and shit, and like they just weren't giving it kind of back to me, like, but I not like in a blame them kind of way. It was just like everyone's focusing on their own thing, and like the way it is, like if I don't have anything to offer you, you're not gonna really, you know, invest into me then, or you know, if usually it's like, oh, I can get a beat off him, I'll probably try to work with him or something like that. But that's what kind of made me spark this, like, was just kind of looking to get together with people, like even with Luke and all that as well. Like it's my first time meeting you today.
Yeah,
which is mad.
first
Which is nuts, like,
Yeah, there's 12 of us.
You're good skin, I know, bro, you're the good skin.
There's loads of us.
Is there how many in the group?
Yeah, there's about 11 or 12 roughly, like, so my little cousin is involved. He's like the videographer, so like he's like getting in, he always wanted to be like you know, a director of some sort. He was really into filming and stuff, so I was kind of like, that's perfect, you know what I mean. And he's only going 18, and then we have the likes of Luke, we have Jake Nolan, Sticky Rhino, we have 2 poets, Kelsey May Daly and Ned Dunn, and we have a singer, Jordan. I don't know Jordan's second name. See, that's what I mean. Like, there's just so many of us, and it's just networking.
Ned Dunn, does he play the banjo by any chance?
Oh, I don't believe so.
No,
Man.
I know Ned Dunn. I was like,
Might be in the same
yeah,
page.
Yeah.
See how I done.
Both of them.
Casey's name is
Yeah.
Collins, Jordan Collins.
Jordan Collins didn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so much for that one. It just goes to show you some leader I fucking am. Like, I don't even know the second name.
You just don't know unless you ask. Like, I don't know your second name. I know your second name. I know your second
My
name.
second name is my
And your
name
full
though,
name.
essentially. Yeah. Middle name, the last.
Yeah, man, it's also about like Curtis was saying there, like, you know what I mean, sometimes you can feel it's a very intimidating atmosphere at times, you know what I mean, especially like I was saying, like I busked out in the street for the fucking year with Rightwell, man, you know what I mean, we met people, we went to studio sessions and other things, and you know, it's just like, you know, it you know, you kind of, you know, have creative differences with people, you know what I mean, or you might not necessarily agree on everything, and you know, and when the plan isn't structured properly, because obviously we were busking out in the streets, we didn't necessarily build ourselves a foundation, everything was so messy, because we weren't educated on how to approach things like within that world, you know what I mean, so everything that we always tried to do at times was very fucking messy, and it fell apart so easily, and we were fucking snapping, and it really hit us hard, like, because it was every time nearly, do you know what I mean, and that could knock your confidence down, that could, you know what I mean, discourage a lot of people, you know what I mean, so that's one of the main reasons I did it, man, was that, like, you know, for the likes of Jordan Collins, like, a beautiful singer, man, has a great, very unique voice, man, it's so unique, very different, and you know, he'd go to the open mics and he'd always tag along with the likes of Luke, you know what I mean, because he felt comfortable, he felt like this is someone that understands what I'm trying to do, I like this young fella's cool, you know what I mean, but I wanted him, like, to feel included, you know what I mean, you're valued, your art is valued, do you know what I mean, and you're appreciated, do you know what I mean, that's what I'm really trying to do here, that's the main motive as well, is that I want these artists to feel appreciated, do you know what I mean.
Bring the best out of them, essentially.
Yeah, exactly, like, do you know what I mean, because when you it's not, you know,
if you're isolated, you stand off away from everything, and you don't have the actual confidence to follow up and
this
go
is
for it.
exactly
You're not being
it.
built up with people, and like people like that have your back in a certain degree, and just guidance. You know what I mean?
So
It's
most
usually
people lack when they're
self-guided,
first starting off,
yeah.
because they don't know how to approach it, or don't actually know what they're doing, basically. They know that, I have this talent, I know I can do this, but everything else, I don't know how to actually like
where do I go?
sell that, like,
how
it's
much is
such
a
a-
good price to go to a studio? Or,
Yeah,
this
all
is
these
exactly
kind of
what I'm
stuff,
saying.
yeah.
well, what is a good studio,
Exactly,
like, you know what I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like, it's
This is exactly what I'm trying to say to him, man, is that, like, we have the likes of Curtis now who produces music, and his musical knowledge is really good, like, do you know what I mean, so if the lads were to ever go into a studio and they want to know how a studio operates, like, Curtis maybe would have some sort of knowledge there to educate the lads, so if they ever want to go to a studio, they know, like, the levels have to be even. Like, there's a lot of young fellas, man, who go to studios and they don't know what the fuck is going on, like, do you know what I mean, they're just dying to get in there and record music, but they don't know, right, all levels need to be even, do you know what I mean, blah blah blah, etc, like, they don't know the knowledge, or, like I said, he produces, do you know what I mean, so, you know, maybe he could educate some of the lads in regards to that, from the lads who ever wanted to get into production, you know what I mean. Curtis maybe could show them a few basics to start off with, or the likes of Luke also, like, produces music, you know what I mean, he's a guitarist, you know what I mean, if the lads ever wanted to pick up the basics on an instrument, Luke is there, or if the lads, you know what I mean, and that's the thing, like, but we can all learn from each other, that's the beautiful part about
you
it.
said you weren't given really that guidance, or you
Yeah,
look for help,
yeah.
whereas you probably would, like, want to help, like, that little
sure,
bit of
yeah.
gap there where you didn't have.
Yeah, and like it's not even like I'm producing beats since I'm about 17, 26 now, so like I'm nearly doing it 10 years, but I was doing, I'd say for like 6 of those years it was probably poorly done. Like, you know, you could like, you could go to gym and get no results because you're lifting like a dope, or you're not doing it proper. Like, I wasn't.
Your technique
You should be getting better like that. Whereas mine was like a learning curve. It went like that, and then out of nowhere I started to, like, the last 3 or 4 years I've started to, like, just go leaps and bounds, because it matter sussing things out, like, and my strength now, I think, is like when we go to studios, like, I've done everything wrong. Like, I had a Rode mic, and it's supposed to be a deadly mic. Had it for like 2 years. I was recording. I had a set wrong, and like I sounded shit for 2 years.
wondering why
Wrecked
the
me
sound is
confidence,
off.
wrecked everything. And it was just, again, like I was saying to you earlier on about YouTube, but like when you don't know until you know, because I have to sort this. Like, there's no way this mic can be that bad. Like, and I went to what actually sparked it was I went to Pirate Studios and recorded in a different mic, and it was grand. And I was like, oh, it's not me. Like, oh, it's not me. It's actually the mic. Went back, sussed it out. But like, that's something that would have taken me months to learn. But now I have that to pass on in a sentence. It's like, oh, just turn that knob this way, you know.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
like
Such a
it's
simple
message
thing,
is
yeah.
it's boiled down into
Yeah.
that little thing. But no, that's because when you're going around, man, it's like I would for months would have picked up the laptop, fucked it on the bed, closed it, stop, start,
Yeah,
because it was
yeah.
wrecking me motivation. Like, but now I just feel like I'm at a comfortable place where like I'm passing the info on and all that then as well. Like, so now it's rewarding. I like to see other people do their thing as well. Like even when you were like just messing there a few minutes ago, just rapping and stuff like that. I get a buzz out of that. Yeah, I get a buzz out of that. So,
See, when I first started off, like, I always wrote for me, like, myself, for fucking mental health reasons, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Write
it's-
down and then actually read it back and go, what the
That's
fuck is
therapy,
wrong
yeah.
with me? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Therapy, yeah.
that's it.
no, but you can learn a lot about yourself and what you write down, like, and
1000%.
like when I first started rapping, like, I'd be down at house parties and all, a few of the lads or whatever, but I'd be down it in like a fucking American accent and all at the
Yeah.
start, you know what I mean? Sounding
I
like
think a lot of
shit.
people.
A lot of
did
people
go
be
that
sitting
way,
there
like,
laughing
you
in
know?
the corner or whatever, and it would knock your confidence, take you back for 6, like, you know, and you start thinking, I'm being shy at this, but I kept writing, and I just kind of for the therapy reasons, and
Of
then
course.
eventually the more I fucking invest, the more I practice into it, I actually realised I'm picking up like on a lot of things that I was doing wrong, like even techniques on how to write and multi-syllable running and things, and it's always when say the last word of not even that at the end, and eventually develops into
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, you learn more as you kind of pick it up and go along, like, so that's
And using your accent as well, that's something I've actually been
Yeah.
having like little bit like time, because when you're rapping in American voice, your rhymes will change. Like I do use Irish words and I say them how I say them, and it sounds completely different to like what you'd hear. So
yeah.
that's been like trippy for me to like find. There's certain things like you'd hear a lot of rappers in America, they'd find they'll say similar words or similar sounding things, and you're like, that sounds really good, but there's a whole untouched kind of thing like that with Ireland. Like
It's how they pronounce it, like,
we're
weird.
trying to
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of copy everyone else because that's what's accepted and what's kind of popular. But it's like it won't succeed until we all have our own sound or something.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. Like.
Seems to be thinking most people just listen to American or English as well, like it's just one of them things, like, innit?
I think it's just they've been around so long that it's
that's
easier to
the
go.
years more
I
than
think
most
there
people
is
do it
as well,
like.
man.
England, yeah.
Is that a lot of like young fellas in Dublin, like there's still that percentage that wouldn't necessarily listen to the Irish hip hop scene.
Yeah,
All they
100%.
know is listening to the boys from the fucking Bronx or something, like, do you know what I mean, or whatever, or, you know, LA, like, so you're kind of like, you know, that when that's your influence and that's your forced influence and you're not necessarily aware of your musical surroundings, you're just gonna go off what you know. That's what we all did. That was your blueprint. You know what I mean? So that's what you follow. You don't necessarily realise, like, yeah, like you just think, like, because we did it. Like, I was fucking 14 years old, you know, rapping in an American accent, and
Thinking you were the cheers as well.
But pause it there because I'd say that might have stopped. But I still have the audio anyway. So.
Yeah. I was actually gonna say, since you're buzzing soon, do you want to get a little, we get just a little jam going, just fuck it before you leg it,
Do you
like,
want to
so.
say anything more like about the opening first?
Yeah.
We can hang on for a few. I'm not rushing out the door. Like, it's only 6:30 now. I just like got 30 minutes. Like, so.
Yeah, I think
30
packing
minutes
things
alone.
up and all as
That,
well.
no,
yeah,
that'll
so.
only take me 2 minutes. Literally just taking this and that. So.
And then you just get out. Well, then yeah, we keep talking for a few more minutes.
Yeah,
and then we
yeah,
just
yeah.
get a little
End it
quick
with
joke.
that, yeah.
A lot of stuff there.
Sure, as well,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
was like it's half an hour, so 15 minutes on this, loads of time for
That's
for
perfect.
music
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So.
We'll
Exactly,
keep
yeah.
going with this, so yeah.
Like we have
Ah, that's
about an
true.
hour and a half of stuff. Obviously you missed a little bit. But
Yeah,
we're
look.
slagging off.
45 minutes.
I
lads,
hope
yeah.
as well, like, I would be late
No,
to
we
be
just-
funeral, boys, to be honest with you. One thing
No,
about
we
me,
didn't
like,
mention yet, we're like, oh,
even the
we
last day, you won't have a late, I rocked up, we're never on time, mate.
Yeah, the opposite courses is always on time.
I was saying I always ever saw that
Responsibilities,
quarter
bro.
before with coffee sitting there like this waiting to go. I knew these boys would be late. I was like,
oh,
yeah.
the square or here?
No, here, no, I just pulled up and then I rang them and they goes, oh, we're down. I goes, I'll collect this because I'll be here another fucking 2 hours
Yeah.
late.
I don't know, I did see that car there.
Yeah, I was
I just
practicing.
didn't-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just
planning a track up from fucking.
I was like, what's he doing out there? He's scratching himself really.
I was like that.
But yeah, man. I don't know. I just think, like, you know, a lot of youngsters follow the blueprint, so they don't they don't necessarily have anyone around to tell them, like, you know, oh, you know, do it authentically. And it's not that they intend to not do it authentically. It's just, like I said, they're just going off that blueprint. So
Yeah, a lot of people as well, they'd be afraid to criticise people. That's another thing with the collective as well, like constructive criticism is the thing. Like, we wouldn't be putting someone down or anything, but
No.
like, you'd be like, hey, instead
them
of
the
giving
right
that,
way.
like, kind of do this instead, like, and guidance
Yeah.
in that way, like, as well, like, it's definitely
absolutely, you know what I mean. And it's making sure that the, you know, that's what I'm saying, man. That's the beauty of it, is that, like, that the lads can be comfortable in these environments, you know what I mean, that they're not afraid to be themselves, that they're not afraid to, you know, throw something that they just made out there, do you know what I mean, because they might be like, you know, oh well, they haven't done this before.
You got to risk it to be judged, and like
Absolutely.
you have to judge. Like,
And if
I
someone's giving you feedback, they're obviously invested in
like
what
we
you're
all
trying to do.
judge. Like, how are you meant to know if you like something or not? You know what I mean? That's like a judgment, but like to go okay and give them good constructive criticism, it is tough, I suppose, to hear. It's like, oh no, that's not good. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when it's so personal, it could be.
Yeah,
Like the
especially
lyrics
when
could be
it's
so
personal.
personal. It could be about your
Definitely,
delivery, but it's really the. You know
It
what I mean?
is, but see, one thing an artist, in my humble opinion, needs to learn to do as well is to try and be able to distinguish the difference between, constructive criticism and maybe just a bit of, you know, spitefulness, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
does happen. You know what I mean? I've been in studio sessions where, you know, someone just wouldn't like old scale hip hop, like, you know what I mean? Just in general, and they'd just be kind of like, you know,
Negative
fuck that,
the
like, you know
whole
what I mean?
thing,
They
yeah.
wouldn't kind of give it a proper scan, like, you know what I mean? But the point I'm trying to make is that it's very important to distinguish that, because you will get that. It's just inevitable, and it's just unfortunate, but it's just unfortunately the way it is, like, do you know what I mean? So it's very important. Like, I mean, I think one important thing to do as well is that a lot of artists now, like you were saying, like, they're afraid of it, like, you know what I mean? You need to kind of learn as well. It's like a fucking pick and mix, you know what I mean? You need to learn which ones you're gonna lock inside of there and run with, and which ones you need to just flush out, like, you know what I mean? It's very important that you do that, man, because there was times where I was told that is fucking dirt, and it knocked me down for weeks, man. I'd be like, I'm not even writing now, this is
But that's back to like who you're going to the studio with. I was on talking to a fella who's probably made, I think he's like 5 songs made. This fella is good. He's like articulate, he's intelligent. He like looks at rap in a certain type of way that I would kind of look at it as well, and I appreciate like his approach to it. But he goes to the studio with like a lot of people, like 10 people, and it's all about like chilling out and they be all drinking or whatever. And I was like, oh man, scrap that, because you're just sitting there listening to other people's opinions, and like someone would say, oh no, try this or try that, and like there's like, you know, there is the whole constructive criticism. Then it's like, but I like you as an artist because like you're clued into something. It's not like, you know, the boys can't, you know, the boys won't be able to always contribute something towards you making a record, like, you know. I think a lot of people, like my journey with music has been, because I produce, was just I do it myself. Like I'd go to studio with you, or I'd go, you know, or I'd fucking meet somebody in the gaff, we'd go through something, but for the most part it's just me with myself, with my thoughts kind of thing. Whereas I feel like when there's a lot of people involved, you'll get that, like you'll get a fella who's like, if you're recording an old school hip hop song, why is there a person in the room that doesn't like old school hip hop? It's like you're not, you shouldn't be in the room. Like it's like this song is more important than you chilling here for 2.5 hours.
It's like-minded, so it's not like, a collective. That's
if you're
you need
working on
to be around people
and
and thinking.
I like when you source good energy. Like say you're making a certain type of song, you're like, oh, I'd love for you to be there because like, oh, you get a buzz off you when I'm with you or something like that. That's good.
Good energy.
So I think I can work against it as well.
You were there in the studio when we were doing the I thought it was a great vibe there.
Oh, class.
But I went a different time and it was like some other guy I didn't know, and I just didn't fucking like him at all.
Didn't click, like,
Me and
you.
I got
first
I was
I
slagging him off,
met,
and I probably shouldn't have, but like I was like, fuck, like, you know what I mean? I don't know who he is. I don't know why he's telling me where I should do my song. That I feel like I'm just practicing anyway. Like I never released the song or anything like that, but I was like, I'm just there to practice or whatever the hell. But like he'd be there trying to give me the best advice ever, whereas I don't know him and I don't like his advice. You know what I mean? Whereas like I think it was one of the lads I knew, I'd probably take that more serious. You know what I mean?
Or if you respected their opinion.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I didn't know him enough.
You know, boy,
or
somebody as
respect
well,
or
like how they
disrespect,
go
you know what I
on and how they carry themselves. Like,
and like there's definitely something to learn from people like the public, because that's who's going to be listening to your music as well. So there is something there, but I just, when you're creating, I think you should just block that shit out, because you start pleasing people and all that. What did you wait looking off of their reaction? Like fuck their reaction. Like what's your reaction like? Do you like or not?
That's facts, man, because look, I remember when I started releasing music, I started releasing music in 2019, but not serious, like, do you know what I mean? Like, not serious music, just shit I'd record in a studio and then be like, slap that out on SoundCloud.
Just for you, like?
In a sense, like, you know what I mean? Just for a few heads to listen to whoever would be interested, like, but it got to me that I wasn't getting enough streams, because like I said, like, when you first start out, you know nothing. You know absolutely nothing, like, do you know what I mean? So your intentions might be swayed. Do you know what I mean? One thing we've come to learn is that it's very important to make art for you, like, do you know what I mean? Because I used to be like upset about the fact, so I always thought like at the start now that streams were everything, you know what I mean? You know, and like
you know, you'd be...
You're expecting instant recognition there.
Yeah,
as
I know,
well,
it's
like,
just naivety, which is
yeah.
natural. It's very natural to have that naivety, and then I start making music for the streams, not for me or the people who'd be listening, just for the numbers alone. And I didn't even realise that either. So that's why it's very important, like what Kurt said there is very fucking important, and I think it's vital that you make art for you first and foremost. That is essential, because that's what I'm saying, man, is that like you see people like, you know, and not even over here, just in hip hop as a genre as a whole in general, like you fucking, you know, you might see like artists who, you know, had a good run, and that run has come to some sort of a halt, so they change it up, which is okay, but they didn't change it up for like they weren't trying to explore their creativity. They're changing it up because they feel like they need to.
Art is a feeling, like it's emotion.
Exactly.
If you're doing it by somebody else, you're not actually expressing it.
This is it, man, and like that's what I'm saying. You need to do it for you and learn to detach yourself from the opinions of others, man. And like Blind Boy has an amazing fucking quote, right? I'm only gonna paraphrase it because I don't know word for word, but he basically said, he was like, you know, if you're afraid of releasing music or worried what people are gonna think, look at a bad review of your favourite album and realise that an opinion is not fact. It's from an emotion. It's not solid fact. Do you know what I mean? Because someone else is going to fucking love it, someone's gonna hate it, someone's gonna think it's mediocre, and people are just gonna think it's okay, like, and that's grand, like, do you know what I mean? And when I heard him say that, I was just like, you know what I mean? I was like, right, fuck the views, fuck all of I need to write this for me, like, do you know what I mean? So we start writing, like, you know, more, I start getting more introspective, or I start having a lot of fun with the craft, like with the lyricism, do you know what I mean? Just having a lot of fun with it, like, you know what I mean? So I think that's very important for artists to realise, man, is that people are gonna hate it either way, like, you know what I mean?
That's it. You're always people don't like it.
You can't make
Not
everyone
everybody's gonna
fucking
be a
happy.
fan. That's fine.
That's absolutely fine, man, and that's one thing you need to learn as well, is to just accept that. You need to accept that. You can't be like, fuck him, he doesn't like me song. That's a human being, he's at the expressing how he feels. You just did that, like, you know what I mean? That's okay, you know what I mean? That is absolutely fine, man. Like, I've had people come up to me and they're like, you know, I think your music's dirt, man, do you know what I mean? Like, that's okay, man, you're allowed to feel that way, that's fresh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'd love to sometimes refer to my raps as my shitty raps. You know, do you want to hear some of my shitty raps? And I don't care, because I'm like, to me, I go like, that's, you know, the worst case scenario, you think they're shitty. So that's why I'd already think it as I go. Like, I go, oh, I'm surprised they like it. You know what I mean? Or they like that bit, or oh,
expect the worst.
They understood that, like, you know, that was a game reference to that, or that other shit.
It's one of the only things that, like, if your friend becomes a plumber, like, there's no, like, is he a good plumber? Like, if you make music, like, if someone's, oh, you're a plumber, that's legal, fair play to you. No one says, are you any good? But like, it's like with music or art, if you don't become like professional from it, it's like not seen as worthwhile or something like that. It's like this. Do you ever hear like, you'll get it from your aunties or your family and all that, that fella tried out this singing and all, but like, you know, he never made it. I'm like, what's making it? Like, he still sings down the pub and he loves it and he does it. It's like,
is he fucking having the time of his life down there? Like,
making it is nothing.
It's just a bonus.
Making it is what you actually do when you make it.
It's
you know
just
what I mean?
whether
That's
or not the
it's
song.
actually making it.
actually making it.
Remember, I was on stage. Where were we on stage?
The George.
No, it wasn't the George. No, it was the day
Pop off and all.
I can't remember, but we were all there. It was all the collective. The majority of the collective boys were there, and we were on the stage. And I remember I said,
The Button Factory.
it probably was. It's the best feeling in the world, knowing that all your favourite songs are written by your best mates. Your family.
Yeah.
Do you know
That's
what I mean?
cool, like, yeah.
Like, I didn't take hip hop serious. I have a background in rock music. I was never into hip hop, and then, and it sounds like I'm trying to lick his arse, but I'm not. Like, then I discovered Casey. I discovered you through Jake.
Was it the lyrics? Or what?
No, do you know what it was? My mate Jake, me and him started a little thing together called the Ibex and that, and it was just a piss take. I used to make beats on my little shitty MacBook, and he used to just rap about joints and whatever. And then one day I hopped on a track with him, and I was like, I can do this too. And we just put these songs, they're still on YouTube, and I remember Jake mentioned you one day because you are mates with
His brother
who passed away very fucking tragically, but and he was like, yeah, Casey raps. I was like, oh, does he? And I remember, yeah, you didn't have a song out at the time, and then you brought out Humble Beginnings 1, and then I listened to that and I was like, I thought Irish rap was versatile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I heard this, and I was like, what's going on here? Like seriously, like you have to look at facts. Like started off, I'm not even gonna do it.
Started
We
off
say
with nothing but hopes and fucking ambitions.
Remember when I said what nobody would ever listen. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, what's it? I was like, I could do this. And then one day I remember I was sitting up in my room, Casey texted me, and because this was all during COVID mostly, and Casey texted me and he said, the open mic is back in the International Bar upstairs, the circle sessions. And I was like, fuck, I'll go. I didn't really want to go. I just wasn't feeling it. I was like, that's not really my thing. But I dragged Jake and I went, and that was it then.
And he blew the fucking ceiling off
No,
that
it wasn't the
crafty
first day I put my name down and they didn't let, it was, I had to go back the next week, but I saw you doing it and the environment there is fucking, it's amazing. And it was just amazing to see, like that was the start. I hadn't played on a stage before that. Like that was the first time I ever played on a stage, and I remember getting up on the stage and they loved it. Like they loved it, and I know it's a very accepted place anyway, they're not going to call you shit, but they loved it. Like, and it just gave me such confidence to keep going, and then I started taking me rapping serious, and it's like, it's amazing to be in a collective with people like the likes of all yous that I'm learning from, like, do you know what I mean? I'll never make a song like you'll make a song, you'll never make a song like I'll make a song, I'll never make a song like Savage will make a song, you know what I mean? You know that kind of way, it's great to be
made a song.
We're all unique, yeah.
Honestly, man, you hopped in and out of that studio so quick, and I literally was like, had to redo one for fucking ages. I couldn't get it right. I had to, like, there's the only song I don't know off by heart.
Was the
I had to
hardest
bring
one.
the fucking thing in.
If it gave it any confidence, that was.
Oh man, you hopped it, like even when the follow-up track you did, like you mentioned that in it, and I was like, you know, someone else might think, oh, that's not true, and I was like, that's fucking true. Like,
Within 48 hours, his reply as well. Video now.
Yeah. Well, the video was great, man.
But yeah, man, I think like Luke said there, the importance as well of art is to like, cause see, man, one thing I said before and I'll always say is there's no rules to this. There is no rules, man, and don't be filled. There just is no rules to this, you know what I mean? Creativity is limitless, it's infinite, you know what I mean? It's absolutely infinite what you could do with your mind and your heart and your soul, you know what I mean? It's infinite, there's no rules, man. Explore it, do you know what I mean? Don't be afraid to reach into them inner depths or to expand them, because you know what I mean. That I think that's a problem a lot. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have my own niche. I'll just forever do what I love. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like you know, like a lot of people just like for example, like I'm not necessarily a fan of trap music, but I'll always respect the effort. Respect the effort, even if I'm not a fan.
I wouldn't be a fan either, but some of the beats I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but, like, you know what I mean? Just because I'm not a fan doesn't mean I can't appreciate and respect the effort that someone has gone through to make that piece of art.
For sure.
Just going back on what you were saying there, actually, about how I was like straight in and out compared to you were saying you were sitting everywhere. I was lucky in a sense where my friend Carlos, like he Jimmy as well, like both of them are producers and mic setups now. Like I've been in that environment like more than what you would have been.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I would have been more comfortable with actually speaking into a mic, headphones on, like just you know what I mean? Like it's. Like,
that was my first time. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like I was more comfortable in that situation where you were just kind of throwing yourself in the deep end, going for it. Like so.
But it was nice. It was a good experience because I was like, it's something I always wanted to do. I know, like eventually I'll get to where I want to be. Of like, so I make music. I know everybody likes it. So what? But I enjoy it. That's my hobby. Like you know what I mean. Like your hobby doesn't have to make you fucking a fortune. It makes you happy. That's like it's gonna cost money to do all that. Or like. It's just about being happy at the end of the day.
It is, man.
You know, about being miserable.
There isn't though, and that's the thing, man. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make a career out of it, but like you know, if your intention is just money, you know what I mean. You need to sit down with yourself and have a proper deep think as to why you're doing this, because you'll be waiting a long fucking time, man.
That's it.
You'll be waiting a long fucking time. And that's not me, and that's not like, you know, you could be amazing at making music, like, I mean, but you'd still be waiting a long fucking time, it doesn't matter.
Saying no matter how good you are, you're not going to get instant recognition.
You're not, man.
Like,
the effort has to be fucking put in, like, but you know what I mean, like, I'm not even gonna lie, man, like, there was times I hated it, there was times I was fucking, you know what I mean, and that's just natural, man. Creativity in itself is like a very fragile thing, like, it's a very fragile thing that just finds its way to travel through, you know, like, we're vessels.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way I look at it, that we're vessels, like, do you know what I mean? And creativity just finds its way to navigate itself through you, like, and it could fuck off for 6 months and then boom, you know what I mean? It just comes back out of the fucking blue and you're like, I'm just going to write like a fucking 10-minute song today, like, you know what I mean?
Remember when I was in Card Accessories, you were going through a little bit of a spell where you were finding it very hard to write and all.
Yeah, and I was going fucking mad, like, you know what I mean? It was like,
so we are very frustrated at the affected you definitely, like, yeah.
Oh man, because like music, I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this, but music is like heroin to me, like, do you know what I mean? Like, even like, I haven't been in a studio since December properly, like, do you know what I mean? And like, when I'm not in a studio for so long, I start like, I'm not even messing, like, I start like being like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Start going on a mad one, like, because I love, that's what I'm saying, man, me and Rightwell, not to keep going on about, we were busking, we didn't have the money for studio time and we weren't aware of any studios at the time anyway. What's the most affordable, what's the best one, and we met this lad and he just invited us down to a studio and we were kind of like, you know, money, and he was like, just buzz down, don't worry, just buzz down, it's all good vibes. So we buzzed down, we were there, like, we went to that studio at like 6:30 that evening, we were there till fucking 9 o'clock the next morning, man, do you know what I mean? Because it was just like, I love it so fucking much, man. Like, I love like working on something and trying out new things on that track, and just, you know what I mean? It's just a beautiful feeling and environment to be in, I think, like, and but that's what, especially what Kurt was saying, like, it's good to have good like-minded people around you, and like, you know what I mean? The reason it's good to have like-minded people around you is because I feel they're the most authentic ones who will view your art from an objective, I think is the correct word, an objective point of view. Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, especially like if they're like-minded, they'll like I said, they'll appreciate your effort, and they might even point you in a good direction to go in with that track or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if they create art themselves, they'll be a bit more understanding and they'll less judgmental and just work out better. And it's nice to bounce certain ideas off each other as well.
See, for me, like, some of the best moments I had, like, not even in like Carlos's bedroom, like, it's got a decent enough setup, good equipment and all, he put some money into it, in fairness to him, like, but like, it was good. The best parts for that for me were like all the ad-libs and all, we were putting in all just the little stupid little things we were doing with the beat.
That's
like
the creative bits. Just
like, you know, when you have all your rap done, like, put a thing in there, you know, like, beep beep, like, get that going.
It's like
just
you hopped on
absolutely pissing ourselves laughing.
Certain bits at the end, you know,
oh man, there's nothing funnier than ad-libs, man.
It really was.
I recorded a track with Maca Rhymes. You ever hear Maca Rhymes, man? Incredible lyricist, love that fella, he's a good skin. Shout out Maca Rhymes, man, he's a legend. And I was in the studio, we recorded a track for his debut album, like, you know, and I don't do ad-libs really, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do what's it when you overdubbing, I'll do overdubbing, but I don't do ad-libs, like make the sound effects in between the bars, like, and it's obviously quiet when someone's recording and I just there making mad sound effects, like, so we didn't really know what was going, just sitting there in the studio and he's there like, bah! Yeah! Just out of the blue, and I'm like, what the fuck is this coming down, man? What's going on? Like, I started shitting myself because I was just sitting beside him and he's there like, yeah! You know what I mean? Well, he wasn't like that, but you know what I mean? He's just making these mad sounds, like, and I was like, what? And then when I listened to the track, they sounded dead. He was going like this. What? But it was just so unexpected, like, do you know what I mean? It's them little moments.
For creatures I have, you know, Psychopath,
Jimmy's
just in the music, Molotov! 10 minutes of Molotov! Pulling down your gaff! That was a nut. I'm like, what's going on here?
But they're the moments in the studio you remember the most, them little cool, just even the smallest times, like, do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, I'll never forget that because it was just so funny, like, do you know what I mean? They're the important moments in my opinion, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget the night, like what I was saying earlier, like when we went to your studio session.
Yeah, the night my birthday was it?
Yeah, and we recorded Humble Beginnings too, like.
That was fucking, I remember I was just sitting back in chairs.
That was madness.
Taking off the smokes, you know, just melting in the chair.
The passion was high in that room from everyone, though. I mean? Like, that's what
emotion.
Yeah, the emotions were high in that room from everyone. Like, I was nearly crying recording it. Came out with a boot. Everyone's like, "Whoa, no!" Do you know what I mean? The boys were all locked as well. Like, I was having a few cans, and it was just
great. Birthday, look, God.
Yeah, I know. I said no, but it was good. Like, I don't mean in a bad. It was just great crack. Like, but even still,
one of the best nights I've had.
And Jimmy, man, yeah, it was. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's good to have fun with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's an essential part of it. You're not always going to have fun with it, of course. Like, there's going to be your tricky days, man. Doesn't matter if you're fucking Black Tar from the Roots or fucking, I don't know, Method Man from Wu-Tang Clan, man. Everyone has their rough days, you know what I mean? mean? Whether that be recording or
Motivation.
Creativity, like,
you know, and
it's
like,
always something.
you know, I say them names obviously because it's fucking Black Thought Method Man. Like, do you know what I mean? But the point I'm trying to make is I guarantee you, like, them two, they're fucking legends. Like, they're like rap gods, man. I guarantee you, like, they have days in the studio where they just can't get that one bar. They're struggling on that one bar.
Yeah.
Like, they do it in like fucking 6 takes, and it's wrecking the repetitiveness as well. You're gonna have them days, man. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? That's you know, I've come to learn that. Like, I've had messy studio sessions. Like, do you know what I mean? You just need to be patient, like, and trust the process, like, and understand that. You know, it doesn't matter what path you're taking, and there's going to be bumps and obstacles, you know what I mean? But if you're just, I've come to learn, like, if I'm in a studio session, I'm losing my temper, I'm like, this is doing me fucking nothing, you'll get nothing done. Especially with that energy, because that energy then, it just, especially with the people in the room as well, I've come to learn that if you have that energy when you're trying to record something, it kind of, it's just like, you know what I mean? Everyone's kind of, not discouraged, but they're a bit like it's that they start feeling like it's a tedious process then, you know what I mean? It shares around the room, like, so.
Everyone starts like,
yeah, do you know what I mean?
Wanna go home?
Yeah. But yeah.
That's it. Over here, it's just fucking money. Gotta make the money. So we can rob it on you.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's fucking ASUS too for you, just to send you off. So, man.
Would any of you ever go to a different country to like try to explore music? Like would you go to Berlin? I feel like you'd be a person that'd do well like abroad as well, not just in Ireland. Like,
I'd love to go to Brighton. I've been there before. Brighton has a great music scene.
yeah.
And it's just very like daily over there. Have you ever been to Brighton?
No.
It's great. Like, it's down to the south of England. Like, and I know obviously England and that, but I mean this is a great. It's a great spot. Like, I went there and it's just everybody was smiling. Everybody's fucking. It's great. It's known as like the gay capital of the world. Like, and it's just everyone's so happy and free and just. Not because they're gay, like, just because, like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
just
know what
great.
you're trying
It's
to
just
say.
happiness, like, you know, you see fucking.
Yeah, because you have so many different walks of life that are free
That's
to
what
be
I'm saying.
themselves.
And it's
Open
comes like
culture,
it comes with fucking blue hair, wearing fucking fishnets.
Whatever the fuck they want,
and people
that
are
free.
smiling about it.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
There's no
It's
hostility or tension in the air.
Yeah.
Everyone's just.
I
feeling
remember
fountain.
Sitges or Sieges. Have you ever heard of that place? Yeah, it's outside Barcelona, also known as one of the biggest gay capitals in Europe. Like, but it's like that. People just walking around like doing whatever the fuck they want. Yeah, new beaches and all that crack. Yeah.
It's great, yeah. It's a pity I went with me flu.
Yeah, Jesus
So you were in
Christ.
fishnets or what?
Oh, yeah.
Buzzing down thinking you're gonna have just a nice little chill vibe at the beach, like, and there's a 78-year-old outfit swinging his bollocks all over the gaff, you know what I mean? You're just severely traumatised, you know.
Boys will have to go away on a little holiday, little collective boys holiday.
Yeah, people doing a show somewhere.
Yeah,
Mm,
that'd be great. That would be good.
that's the hope. We're very accomplished, blah blah blah.
We will accomplish it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, fucking 100%.
Be cool, even down the country and stuff, just going somewhere else like that as well.
Me and Jake were only talking about that. Just love to
I
go.
was gonna move down to the country before I met ourselves.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it as well, like to buy a house down there, because I don't need to be in Dublin.
Imagine going to
except for
Galway and
concerts.
seeing Casey fucking scream at us.
It was me and Jim had a plan. Obviously, again, before I met ourselves, to just fucking dip down there for a year or so, you know? Just give it a go, because, you know yourself, sometimes you can just, obviously everyone gets some nuts, you know what I mean? And you just kinda, it's not that you lose hope, but you're just in a very desolate mind state at times. Do you know what I mean? You know, maybe the music isn't working out, you can't find a decent job, you know what I mean? You know, obviously everyone gets them, like, you know, parts and fucking, you know what I mean? And me and Jim are just kinda like, you know, just kinda, not a fresh start, but just a new chapter, I suppose, you know what I mean? And, because it's mad, man, some parts down in the country, a whole gaff, like a whole house, 100 quid a month down there, like, you know what I mean?
I know.
Fucking madness, like, because, you know, obviously, like, you know, wanted to get out of the gaff, like, you know what I mean, ASAP, in a sense, but
There you go.
just come to learn you can't rush these things, you know?
Should get what we call the boys out of collective, and just rent a gaff somewhere for a week, bring all the recording stuff.
Well, Jim came up with that idea as well. But here, this is the thing. Jim was talking to me, and he was saying that his gaff is free in September.
They were saying
for a couple of weeks, and he just wants a few. He just said he wants people down, and we just get a big jam going, drum machines, guitars. We just record whatever. Like, do you ever see the fucking Dreamville documentary with Jay Cole? And there's like 46 cunts in a fucking studio, like, and there's multiple rooms, like, do you know what I mean? And he's just floating in and out of every room to be like, right, what are you working on? It's fucking deadly.
We
Like,
set up 2 or 3 different studios, one in the bedroom, one in the sitting room, one in the
I'd have
kitchen.
no bother bringing out my stuff.
I'd bring everything I have. I've a good bit more gear. This is the minimalist approach.
the only thing is, I don't know if it occurs before Electric Picnic, after or during. That's the thing. I don't know what date in September they're going
Yeah,
away. Like,
I'm not excited for that at all.
Why not?
that's
It's
it.
going to be unbelievable here.
Yeah, but let's put that to the test, shall we?
You just want to make. You just better hope I don't get back up afterwards. But honestly,
Hair straight off the head.
oh man,
It's our collective now.
That's it.
Loving the t-shirt, bro. That's the one with the Batman said, you're the joke, and that was great.
Oh, Jack Nicholson joke.
Yeah, we were talking about you in the last podcast.
Yeah?
Mm.
Silky, actually, the
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, saying that.
Sticky
Sticky
Rhino.
Rhino, sorry,
Silky
Silky.
Rhino.
Sorry, no.
Silky Rhino.
I was thinking of MC Silky there.
Who the fuck is MC?
He's not MC Silky.
He's
Ah,
pretty
bro.
smooth, yeah.
He's been banging about years, man. He used to be drinking cans of Stonehouse in the field. Boosting
Quality deadly.
Yeah, I watched that one with Rhino as well, yeah, quality.
I did, I watched that myself.
Yeah, he talked about me and he gave me the same introduction he gives everybody when they meet me about the open mic night. When he met me at Smithfield Creatives, he's like, I thought I did great, and then this young fella gets up with the guitar and he's like, yeah, I'm fucking sick of the words.
Yeah.
Every time, like I nearly know it word for word, like when he said, like, how did you meet Luke? Wait till I tell you, like,
He obviously impacted him a lot.
sure,
We love Rhino. I met him on his birthday. I was his birthday present.
It was on his birthday, I remember that, yeah, because we met him at Minty's
Is it?
Indie Club, yeah, in the intern, and then we fucking seen him at Smithfield Creatives.
Oh yeah, that was it. Like, and we remember we were spitting bars out in the smoking area for.
That was quality.
That kicked us out and all, remember?
Yeah, they did, yeah, and then they kicked us all out completely, yeah, and we weren't allowed back.
We were
was that?
screaming at fucking.
It was a lot of bollocks, it was basically like, yeah, I don't know.
Wait, we were screaming. He said.
He's like, yeah, this is
We
not
had this thing out for ages. Rhino had this hook and he was like, smack a bitch in the face. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were screaming this for like 3 hours long.
Just 80s West Coast gangster rappers.
That's what
Definitely was
they
not
were
lyrics
like,
there.
"Get out, like,
Pussy down the street.
you just have to leave. We were like, why? What are you on about?
You good?
Oh, good. Living the same plan.
You tunes out?
It was catchy.
Nah, not recently, bro. I've been fly out walking my every weekend. To find the time is hard to want these days, to be honest, man. Nightmare.
Shit, was trying to get studio time up in the place we were at.
Yeah.
Your man's laptop got robbed.
Saying that, yeah.
The
saw
place
that,
beside
yeah.
all the clothes and all that got nicked, and then
That was
obviously
around
we must have
Simba.
went, oh, this
Yeah,
is good
Simba,
laptop,
yeah.
fucking
That's
took it,
bad,
you know.
isn't it? Because it's not just like he'd have songs belonging to loads of people.
Every
Do you know
day.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
so
it's
much
like
more
four
than that,
years
yeah.
before four people
Yeah,
fucked
like
over.
they went in and robbed like the clothes shop that was there, and then they went in and they only took the laptop, didn't smash it up, they probably just saw it and said fuck it.
The amount of equipment in there.
But what do you do with it with someone's Mac was like? what
Yeah,
do
you
do?
can't even get into it.
unblocked
That's the same.
or,
The
like,
amount of mics and all in the place, and they went for something you can't even get into.
Man,
Like,
His last 3 months of stuff was lost or something like that.
did you get it back?
The thing is, he had Coolio and fucking
Versatile.
in there as well. I don't know whether they were recording or what they were doing, but like.
Oh, that's sick. That's fucking sick.
And you need to get a bank vault with a hard drive that backs
That's
up
what
every
I
day.
was
This
saying.
My
store
brother always
away,
told
and
me,
you come
boys,
back.
like, because
I'm
I was gonna get a drum machine a couple of years ago, like, you know what I mean, and then obviously I spent my money on just dominoes and shit like a dickhead. But
a case of Whopper.
yeah, just
You can't
typical,
eat drum
Well,
machine.
typical Casey, man. You know what I mean? I actually have the funds there for something that'll help me career, and it's just like, nah, I'll just buy dominoes. But my brother said it to me when he was gonna get that drum machine, was like, you need to buy a hard drive, like, you know, a couple. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
A couple,
Right, yeah.
long term. You know what I mean? Think long term, and because like even remember your laptop had to go through that little you know what I mean? Have to that fucking.
Oh, my heart.
All the
Yeah.
files got corrupted or something.
No, it was the laptop wouldn't turn on because we're about to record my album on his laptop, like, and we texted him. He was like, "Oh, yeah, so we're buzzing down." He was, and like, literally, remember, like, you are like, "Bro, my laptop isn't."
That's
turning
like,
on."
I have an EP on that, like, I have like 5 tracks completely finished on that. And I would have fucking.
Other people's music as well.
Yeah,
and
me
those
and
fucking
Jake's
wolves.
music, I have Pan's Labyrinth on that, I have fucking, you know what I mean.
Did you get it back working on that?
Oh yeah, it was just overheated. It was my beats were too
Thank
good.
God.
That's what he said. He said it's overheated. That's what was wrong with it. I was like, yeah, it's my beats, yeah.
Yeah, man's like, nah, it's just a fan.
Yeah, it's alright to be a fan, you know what I mean? Yeah, quality beats, bro, like.
It's just the bars and all the words and all that.
Yeah, we just.
But that cut man, like, he charged me like 80 quid or something.
Just to look at it.
That my laptop was overheated.
I remember that years
Just
ago,
put your
man.
hand on it and was like, yeah, I can fucking bro, fucking things
80
on
quid.
fire.
I remember years ago when we broke your Xbox, like your Xbox 360, like, do you know what I mean? In the disc tray, yeah, there's thermal paste and there's like this mad, like, elastic made out of a certain material that makes the disc tray come out, like, do you know what I mean? And my brother went to get it fixed, like, you know what I mean? This is when Xbox 360 was only out for a couple of years, like, and your man charged them basically the price of a fucking Xbox just to put a little elastic around the fucking disc tray, man. Do you know what I mean? And my brother, I mean, fuck that
It's
shit.
just because people are so oblivious to
See, mine
They are though.
Mine did the 3 rings a day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you know how you fix that?
Take a part off it.
No, you wrap it in towels, put it in somewhere really hot, and for some reason they fucking fix it.
Yeah, it's
You
very
completely
odd, man.
overheat it and it goes back to normal.
Do you ever meet my mate Mark? I don't think you met Mark. I don't think you met Mark
Oh,
either.
we met Mark. Yeah, remember
Yeah.
the studio
Oh, the
session?
studio,
that
actually,
was
yeah,
incredible.
Mark was there that
was
day.
a quality,
Mark.
like, that was mental.
Yeah,
wasn't
he
it?
used to have an Xbox, yeah, genuinely used to have an Xbox, right, and the thing used to break left, right and centre, and he used to just take a part off it, and it would work perfect. And by the end of it was just like a shell, like, you know,
It's just
like,
a disc tray.
It's just a motherboard.
25 minutes trying to get the disc in and all, you know what I mean, to play a bit of fucking college. You want to offer a trade it was at the time. Like,
I remember as well, you used to spray links on your PlayStation 1 discs and they'd work
Yeah,
again
yeah.
because the
Toothpaste as well. Was
Clean
there
it, like,
toothpaste?
yeah,
Just to get
like,
the
yeah.
see PlayStation 1 discs, the back of them are black. Yeah, but there's a reason for that because the material on the back of the disc, yeah, prevents copyright, yeah, so you can't just
Yeah.
burn the fucking disc onto another disc, like, and all that shit, or copy the files over on this. So, yeah, so I don't know what it was like, but through some mad scientific fucking whatever, if you sprayed links on it, it'd like restore the files or something, like, I don't know,
Very
like, but
scientific, we don't want to get into
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Elon Musk would be able to tell you.
Get nail the grass though, isn't it? You know, you might do a job on it.
What's it?
Nail the grass, nah man, fuck.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson or whatever.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse
Talks about
Tyson, it is,
space.
man,
it.
isn't it?
Stars and all
Yeah.
that.
Do you know Jizza from Wu-Tang Clan?
Yeah.
He's a fucking, as far as I know, he's like a physicist. Like, he actually teaches
Oh, man.
in
He's
like
the producer,
universities.
isn't
No, Riz is the producer.
Ah, that's what I
But Jizza, yeah man, like, he's a fucking, like, he's actually like a high scholar physicist of some sort. Like, do you know what I mean? It could be highly wrong on that. He's probably like into something.
You're close enough. Close
Yeah,
enough.
it's something on the lines,
yeah,
something in science anyway.
He's like a
Don't
chess master.
Don't
and
Google
all
it.
He is, that's a fact as well, yeah,
He's
that's a
legit
fact,
at
man. But
chess.
he had a deadly conversation with Neil deGrasse Tyson and all, and it was deadly, like, do you know what I mean? It's mad to think, like, he was just, like, you know, a fucking lyricist, and, you know what I mean? Like, I remember listening to him when I was a young fella, like, you know what I mean? I didn't have a fucking clue what he was speaking about, like, even the terminology he was using most of the time. I still don't most of the time, but now we have Rap Genius, you go online and you look up what the meaning of the lyrics and all, so it's dead handy. But when you were 9 years old and you just got the internet and you got and like Liquid Swords would come on and you're just like, what is this fella saying? Like, do you know what I mean? It's still
Good
cool.
cloud, yeah, I'm on boy, but
Yeah,
that,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But man, yeah, Jizza was fucking quality, man. You know what I mean? Because the rest of them were all like, you know, fucking like Raekwon the chef and all, yeah, like, you know what I mean? He was like, because back in the mid-90s and all, there was like this, it was like its own little sub-genre called crime rap, yeah, like Nas and all, you listen to it, was written, it's like the score of a gangster film, like a crime movie or something, like, same with only built for Cuban Links, it's like, it's a score for a crime film. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They're very well written, like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, it was, but that's what I'm saying, like, it's mad to think Wu-Tang Clan, like, the whole contrast, like, you just have Jizza rapping about, like, science and intellectual shit, like,
it's
and
the same with your
then-
man. Sorry, interrupt you.
No, you're all good.
Rizza as well. When he raps, he like raps like he's reading off Wikipedia or something. Ever heard that?
Raps like you're reading off.
Yeah, do you know that tune? Do you know Impossible?
Yeah, that's incredible. That's on the second album. We'll
Yeah,
thank
his,
forever.
his verse on that, RZA comes in and I can't remember, and it's like he's pulling out like percentages in the rap and all, and he's like fucking 85% of the population depend on fucking blah blah. And he's like facts like, but it rhymes, it flows, it's mad stuff.
Most fucking mathematics, all this shit coming out and that.
That is an incredible album, Black on
Oh,
Both Sides. Did you ever hear that? Did you ever hear that album, Black on Both Sides, by Mos Def, his debut album? That is fucking phenomenal. Did you ever hear that song, Miss Fat Beauty, by Mos Def? That's what it's called.
No, it's a fucking
That's what the song is called.
The way you said it.
So I'm going to swap out.
That's what the shit was
It's like you're making a like a intellectual like fucking debate over or something, and like, you know that song, Big Fat Beauty.
Nah, it's one of his most well-known songs, like, but it's off that album. But that album is fucking incredible. Like, Black Star. Did you ever hear Black Star? Talib Kweli.
Oh, is that the kind of orangey album?
Yeah.
It's like kind of on a piece of wood. It's
Yeah.
like going, I know the one, yeah.
That's a fucking quality album as well. That's
There's
incredible.
one song on that and it's insane.
Respiration is the most popular single off that album.
I bet you it's not though. I bet you it's not. We go for them beat cuts, case, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'll tell you what it is.
You know, most people nowadays as well, especially when the internet came about, just listen to everything at face value. Like, they wouldn't go sit down and scan an entire album. Like,
Redefinition.
that's incredible.
That's a class song, that's unbelievable.
That
So
is
you
incredible.
just seemed like you were going to say something else there. You were like, that was incredible.
No, it is. That's an incredible fucking song, man.
Oh,
Most
this
Def's
is
flow in
insane.
that song, like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, nobody listens to albums anymore. Like, they wouldn't listen to a full
no,
project.
I never really
I
did.
do.
I think
I
when I was
still
younger,
do,
it was
yeah.
Eminem's albums, that's all I'd buy.
No, I listen to
Knowledge.
albums still, yeah. I very rarely listen to songs except for like on Spotify, like me like songs or whatever like that, but I'd never make a
Playlists,
playlist.
yeah.
No, I'd never make a playlist because I just found songs were mad,
Yeah.
just skipping into random ones.
That's
but
it, yeah.
I'd rather stick on, like, if I was listening to Kendrick Lamar or something, I'd stick on like 4 or 5 of the songs in a row or something like that, and then I listen to another album or something like that.
That's why records and CDs and all that are just going extinct, because people can skip through and filter out what they don't like. Where back in the day, like the 70s and 80s and all this
Well,
stuff,
records are...
albums were albums. Like,
Well, yeah, but records are considered a collector's item now. I went to get me that Led Zeppelin vinyl for his birthday last year, and it was $79.99, and I was like, I am in me hole spending 80% of me fucking scratcher on a vinyl. Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Be a good investment for the future, I don't know.
yeah, maybe, but like, I mean, I wanted to get it from so I could listen to it. You know what I mean?
which one was it?
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin 2.
Two.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, but I was just a bit like, I'm not paying fucking 80 brick for that. Do you know what I mean? Fuck that. Yeah, man, not a fucking chance. Like, do you know what I mean? Not a chance. Like. Oh.
Living off cardboard for the rest of the week.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
chewing his lead card.
seriously though.
Yeah, they are expensive to be getting into. Like, I have a, you know, from my gaff, man, I have a good feeling I have some.
Oh man.
Is this going?
Yeah.
So this is it. We're
No,
just
like,
there.
it's like bits and bobs, but we'll just keep going.
That's what
Yeah,
I was thinking,
fuck it,
you
just keep
have
going.
bits.
Like, yeah,
And then we'll just do an
obviously
intro
there's bits
whenever.
where we're gonna bleep it out or whatever the hell. Just at the start.
Yeah.
What was it?
Good out case talking about big fat booties and all this.
Just to clarify, I wasn't talking
It'll
about
just be
big
a
fat
montage of
beauties.
him saying things.
I was talking about the Most Def song. I was not talking about big fat beauties.
I
Most
love
Def.
big booties.
Who doesn't love a big fat booty though? Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. Most Def dedicated a fucking song to them. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what I was talking
Fucking
about.
legend though,
Most Def song.
man.
I was saying.
But yeah, vinyls, man. Do you know what I mean? But someone said, I don't know who said it. I was listening somewhere that like they have the best audio quality to listen to any form of music on is vinyl or something.
It depends on what you're listening to. If you
I
love.
think that's like a.
So I bought a lot of
hipster thing or
records and all
something,
that, but there's a record player over there, but I never really used it. I just gave them all to my sister anyway. But it was good. It was not like it was good to just play something and just not have
That's
the
it.
control of
It
what's
feels
gonna
more
play.
real or
Yeah.
something, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It feels like
But you have to flip them every like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the wreck the head was if you ever have records. You'd be cooking or something, then you have to stop what you're doing, go over, flip it, back
And
on.
there's one.
It doesn't sound like an effort, but when you're listening to it, you'll notice it'll go off and then you won't change it again for like another half an hour and you're like, I'm not listening to nothing for the last half an
just
hour.
trying to listen to fucking
I had
big fat
Biggie's.
booties.
That's done now, that's it.
Here, it's a fucking tune now, man. It's a fucking banger of a tune.
That's the bastard about
We'll have to run this.
Yeah,
The
but
whole
so
story
careful.
about him
Hold
just
on the
meeting in
outsides
a
and
fucking
that's
pub
just
somewhere, like,
face it, man.
and then he like starts like fucking.
I'm gonna say it for later just because I want to listen to it.
It's fucking quality.
I believe it.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I don't know. Like I was like, especially like I was talking to someone as well that actually like works in a warehouse where they print vinyl, and he was saying like it's actually man expensive to get vinyl printed.
That's it, that's probably why they are so expensive.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so it's understandable, but it's just mad. Like, it's mad to think that was just the norm at one point, and now it's just like fucking 80 quid. Like, you know, me bollocks.
Yeah. It's the same with getting pictures developed today. Everything's just down.
It's just like
The old skill's gone a bit more expensive now, isn't it?
because it's a novelty now. It's
tangible
nostalgic.
as well, like it's a physical thing, like whereas like putting something up on Spotify
It's
is
just a digital thing,
You're
yeah.
using the internet. Like,
I'm sorry, I think this
Not
show kids
secure,
are
like it sounds.
yeah, like but
Do you know
actually
this show
making
kid?
something physical is
What's that?
No,
When all this
Someone
so
can do
this
that,
show
I
is-
don't know what that is.
the technology of it is mad
It's
as
a
well.
music distributing service.
So when you log on to Spotify as an artist, yeah, you use those music distributors, right, and you can sign up to whatever one. There's multiple ones. There's like TuneCore, CD Baby, and this show kid.
Bandcamp and shit. No,
Bandcamp
Bandcamp
is
is a different side.
Bandcamp is its own platform,
Yeah.
but you know, this show kid, you pay like 35 quid a year to which isn't bad, like, and that's how you upload your music on the Spotify. You upload the file into this show kid, you select your date of uploading it, and uploads all onto all major streaming platforms, like, but it's a pain in the hole, like.
So you got Spotify, you can't directly upload to Spotify like the way you can with SoundCloud. You have to go through a distributor that they already trust, because when you upload your song to DistroKid, they'll run all their tests,
Make
see
sure
all,
it's not
all the
copyright.
levels are copyright,
Yeah.
all the levels,
Everything,
one
yeah.
above the other.
I
So
think
it's a
SoundCloud does that
play
as well, a little bit.
yeah, but it's a bit more free. Like,
Yeah,
in
because I
a
was
way,
like,
yeah.
I made a beat, put it on SoundCloud, and then it was like, this is someone else's. I was like, I just made this there. That's not fucking somebody else's. You know what I mean? But it was all fine, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
It's just
SoundCloud
because
is-
I have Ableton there, and then whatever I used, it was. I actually looked into the song that said it was like, and I go, I can hear the same bit in it, but it's not the fucking same song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should they just put it into like an analyzer that like looks for the sound wave
Yeah,
to
like
look
I don't
the
think
same?
I don't think I
that's all it
changed the
is.
beat, and obviously the person didn't change that little bit, but whatever was added in, everything else I fucking fuck around with, whatever. But like I was like, oh, who's this cunt think he is?
And you're making beats yourself or not?
I started making, like, I bought this laptop and then I bought Ableton Push 2 with the controller, and I didn't know anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just stuck with the laptop. I gave the Ableton Push 2 to my mate, but no, like some of the beats are okay. Like there's one of them I go, I fucking love that one, but I've been messing around for ages and I go, I just don't know enough.
Yeah, you've been doing it for years, but YouTube, man, YouTube's the best thing.
Yeah,
around.
that's
That's
what
what I
I
told
do.
myself.
Yeah.
YouTube, anything, and it'll come back and it'll just show you how to do it.
Yeah,
Or if you find it, what's better than Googling your questions is find somebody that's good at making the videos and subscribe to them, because then you'll see everything rather than just the questions you have. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna show you how to mix today, I'm gonna show you how to do this today.
Yeah.
So just keep fucking practicing.
WildLogicProRules.com.
See a lot. See the way you've done that voice there. A lot of the music things now you'll find if you look up how to make it this type of beat, they're getting the product sent to them for free by like say Analog Lab, this Arturia. I would be, imagine me being a YouTuber and I'm like, yeah, you have to buy this drum brute, like this is the best drum brute that's around, you won't be able to do anything without this drum brute, but like I'm just getting paid to say that. So some people you don't even know if they're genuine or not, because like they're getting paid to do it.
think
Promotion.
reviews-
Yeah,
Yeah,
on YouTube.
They do, yeah,
they
but
do it,
they're
like-
just sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
Sneaky bastards.
I was that's what I was gonna buy a MPC a Koi. There a couple of
That's well worth it though.
Yeah, definitely, and because I was in my mate's gaff, I have a track Humble Beginnings too, and my mate produced it on his drum machine. It's fucking deadly. He used to just chill in his gaff during lockdown, like back when lockdown was like you can't even live 2k away from your gaff, like, you know what I mean? Fucking hell, like, you know what I mean? Like that 1940s, man.
Julie and my cousin had to go to court because they were breach of the 2K. They had to pay fine. They had to pay fine originally. Now the fine is upped, and I think they were like, "Fuck that! I'll just do a week in prison."
You would imagine I'm doing a week in prison because I cycled down to fucking Bushy Park or something. You know what I mean?
I don't think they even had enough evidence. I think there was they were just getting food, so I think that was allowed or something. Like,
That happened to someone I know. They fucking the place they ordered from was in town. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they drove from Drimnagh into town, and it was like 3k or something.
yeah.
And yeah, the guy that tried to find them and all.
And
And like, they were trying to explain that we order from this restaurant that's delivery only, like, do you know what I mean? We couldn't cancel the order and all. And the guy that was just basically like, fuck you, you're paying the fine anyway. Like,
Well, how can they do that when like they were all the politicians were caught at a party in a hotel and all that, like
yeah.
Golfgate and all? It's
yeah,
like,
Leo
how
for
can
that
you-
guy's jaw swinging in a field somewhere.
I know, yeah.
How can you lock people up or fine people like that when you're doing the exact same thing yourself? You know, it's like one rule for one rule for.
That's why so many people are mad about it.
Yeah, to work
Can't
all
blame
the
them.
time, and they were always stopping cars, but they never stopped the buses. And I was like, they don't stop the buses. You can travel anywhere. They don't stop the buses.
I was on a bus that they stopped once and they, oh man, I'm not lying like this.
On Google Maps, how far am I?
Because I moved up to my mate's gaff in Ballymun for a while, and like they fucking yeah, they stopped the bus. The guy that stopped the bus and got on the bus and started asking people where they were going. And I was there like fucking.
Ah, fuck, I'm gonna get fined here.
Yeah, my bum cheeks were flapping a bit, man. I was proper shitting myself down the back of the bus and all, just like mad sketchy and all, like, do you know what I mean? But
It was 4K from Crumlin.
yeah, they just asked me and I just gave them a lot of bollocks, like, and they were like, right, grand, like, you know what I mean? But they actually believed me, like, and I was just like, right, happy days, like. But I was shocked, man, the fact they actually stopped the fucking bus.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Like, obviously, mustn't have been that packed out, was it?
No,
I
it
know
wasn't
when
though.
it was like
It was
there's
at 10 o'clock in the
football
morning.
seats anyway that you can sit on, but
It was on a 1:55, like at 10 o'clock in the morning or something. Or at 4 or something. Do you know what I mean? But I was just shocked, man. Do you know what I mean? It's just madness, like, you're just trying to fucking.
At 10 o'clock on 4, like.
No, not a 4 bus. 1:55 on a 4 bus.
I was like, hang on a minute.
No, it was, but, yeah, it was just mad, like, do you know what I mean?
Speaking of buses, did you know that Rosa Parks only died in 2005?
Really?
no, I didn't.
Do you know what else I learned last night? Did you know that SCUBA is an acronym for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus?
Wow, now that's fucking knowledge.
Now I was up last night. You know what I mean?
Do you know where artificial vanilla comes from?
Yeah, Castorium beavers arseholes.
That's it.
Yeah.
What?
It's milk from a beaver's anus.
Yeah. First tune
Honestly,
ever
you think
put
it's
out
just-
anywhere.
you
Castorium freestyle. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out. Yeah.
Anything for the plug,
Me and Jake now, the Ibex Sonata, we were born the Castorium freestyle. Yeah. Only on YouTube though, exclusive.
Play promotions though.
Right, a whole concept about how vanilla is extracted from some creature's anus. Like,
No, but like, who the
What's going
fuck
on?
was like, you know what? I've been looking at this beaver for a long time. It tastes like vanilla. It's like who knew it was gonna taste like vanilla?
Oh man, you'd
Somebody
be
has-
surprised. But
You get into the argument then, how did they know to milk a cow?
They saw the little cow going in there, and it was like, some kid was like, that tastes like mammy.
I'd say that was like survival. They saying like the little baby fucking the calves like going up and sucking that shit, like, do you know what I mean? Getting
no,
some
I'd say
fucking
what I'd say it was
getting
just
some
something
nutrients and you know, like they're starving, like fuck that.
Someone goes up to a bowl and it's like, no, it doesn't taste the same.
You try it around, like,
I'd say it was just something that provides content.
well, if the
Yeah,
cow works,
The horse hurts.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It's going down a dark road.
run it back.
Put that out there, good.
Just a whole story about this deprived cunt. He went from cow milk to horse semen. No, I mean, you ever see, look at the end of a film or something, it's like Jimmy didn't survive or something. You know, just, you know what I mean, comes up on the screen, like, you know what I mean? Oh,
R.I.P. R.I.P. Oh, you see Ali G in the house?
Yeah, obviously.
Your man is like, you sucked off a horse. It's like, no, I fell on a horse's phallus. And then it's like, what the fuck? It turns out to obviously there was an allegation about it. Like,
In the political debate thing,
yeah. Keep it real.
How was it? Was it Steve was on the telly or something? We said it to the presenter. or
Yeah.
was
And
it?
your man walked off and he won, like.
Yeah.
He's a gas. Did you ever see his show This Is America?
Yeah.
No.
Who? Your man Ali.
Mad. Seen the gun one.
Sacha Baron Cohen, like
Yeah.
Borat and all that. And he creates all these characters and just pranks people. Like you saw it.
I seen the gun one where
The
like, they
gun
were
one.
like, I'd give the guns to the kids and all these.
Oh yeah. It was like,
Fucking mad
like,
cunts these
My
people.
Little Pony on it. It was like, yeah, it's for the
I heard
kids.
he tries
So
to
many
like,
mad ones. Gotta check it out.
Dangerous,
blackmail
isn't
a
it?
politician into being with a young girl or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
we've seen
man
it.
said
We've
something
seen
with his
that.
belt and all this stuff, and then he got away with it saying, "Oh, it was just scratching."
But was he though? Was he up
No,
to
of
badness?
course
though?
No, there was nothing like that. It was just the way it was.
Did he not
edited
say he was
looked
trying
that
to
way?
detach the
Remember?
microphone or
He
something?
got, yeah, he got
Just
done.
I
He
don't
just got
know.
done for
Like any excuse, they're just gonna go.
Yeah,
that's
defamation
funny,
character.
fine, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like you're thinking someone has to be a
He
pig.
did
That's
a
fucking
prank
radical,
on-
like, you know.
He did a prank on O.J. Simpson. He was like pretending to be a billionaire, like he was in his place, and then he goes, yeah, and some woman comes in, and then just puts the towel over her, and then the headset's going like that. And he still talked away to O.J. Simpson. He's like, now how much do I have to pay you to tell me how it really went down? You know, about murdering his wife. And he wouldn't budge. But I was literally like, oh my god, imagine he budges. Like, you know
What's his number?
Imagine he's
Oh,
not
boys.
broke, man. He could have just
Imagine you're getting a
no,
hotel
really,
chef
no.
and O.J. Simpson sitting beside you and you're like, so did you use like a butter knife or a like...
I think there was some lady interviewing him, and he shut the door, and he was like, meh, meh, meh. There's a joke with a knife.
Did you ever see them videos of him playing golf and all? Did you ever see
Did you
them?
ever see him on Twitter? He's like, hello, Twitter world. It's fucking glasses.
Just trying to casually live out his last days, like, do you know what I mean? That's fucked up, man.
He's a fucking legend, that one.
You're a fucking legend, you know what I mean?
He's just pretending that it never happened. He's just blocked it out.
Yeah,
He's
whack
trying to
that.
go on as if nothing, as if no one
One of them
knows
says,
it.
oh, not bleeding fucking OJ, like that comes with it more all the time. Some bloke
Say
missed. You never seen my dish
Say
track, the other one's taken down, innit? Our one's taken down. You don't have a copy of that, do you?
I sent it to me yesterday. I was
Do you have it?
playing
Play it, yeah, play it. So. This is the one that started off. Like, I don't know, man. We got a phone call. You coming down there? Yeah, bro.
yeah.
5 minutes on the back of a bus.
Give
Me
that
lyrics
away,
was
are you?
on, you know?
Just that,
Yeah.
just shot that little... Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
it's all good.
5 minutes on the bus and lyrics are on. There you go, straight on.
okay,
Bob's your uncle into the studio. How are you doing? That's me.
Just record. Yeah. I'm not good. We'll cut this out.
I got more views in a day than in
Yeah,
your whole
Korea.
career. Look like Sloth from the Goonies if he was full of gear.
Why have I heard that before?
Yeah,
That's you.
That's being in.
That's you on there.
No.
Who's...
That's Ted, Chili Dog, 1998 or something
I
like
feel
that.
like I've heard that before. Would that be like... Was that bounce around social media?
Yeah, it would have been. Instagram was a bit.
I don't know. No one knew who sent me anyway. You know what I mean? We should have made a video for it.
We should have had a video.
Look.
Yeah, it was deadly, right? That's the first time I met you. Deadly night that was, right? That was serious, right?
R.O.B. Holy fuck with rapping, get real J.O.B. OMG, I seen your last video. Johnny, it was so funny. The worst acting, stop the camera. Shit in your hands and start clapping. Fake it till you make it. Real rappers fucking sampling. Me, Chili Dog, 98 and Savvy. Rubbish in Ireland. American garbage, don't be fucked with Dublin's hardest. Artists, trust me, don't wanna start this.
R.O.B. to R.O.B. His lazy flow is boring me too ordinary or artists. Sit his face informally, informing. R.O.B. is back to script. R.O.B. does not appeal. Not like me, I'm made of steel. Cool his face, the artist peel. But he goes down back his hill. Hit on the dog, no tanks a mill. Jump in the jar on a Darren Till. Back to the gap, gonna order grill. One man, I got time to kill. I'm not like you, I got the skill.
Who was that recording?
Huh?
What studio? Like? Yeah. The Jungle Bean studio. This one that got robbed.
I don't even know how you can call yourself a rapper.
That's mad.
Just a noodle hair bitch boy.
Fuck's sake, that's a mad
R.O.B.
switch.
is on the dole, Will is that one's on the pole. Ness is full of pedos, only wearing orange speedos. Walking around the
Jeez,
Montessori,
I'm
as
fucking
the
cool,
kids
bro.
from
I
the
love
story.
my
R.O.B.
dude.
is full of shit, his auntie has some crackers.
Who's that?
Some fella there, I was there, I don't know. He didn't even rap for that. I was like, he didn't even rap for that. I was something weird. He just walked in and done that.
He
God.
just came up with that on the spot there. Like.
He took his other one down, didn't he? R.O.B. his reply.
Did he?
I think so, no?
No.
Yeah,
Play
I don't
it.
know. Yeah,
I honestly didn't think it was bad. I
I
was like, if
don't
he made
know.
more songs like that, I wouldn't.
Don't
I'm
make
not gonna
some-
lie,
You don't want to hear it?
Yeah, no. Sorry, wait, your man's reply.
We've not even been because just...
Yeah, he did.
Sorry, not this
Still there, is it? Yeah, still there. Oh, yeah, well. Yeah, what's out
you don't play your... Oh, yeah, oh, you see the video, yeah.
Seen that picture?
Was that out
fucking
behind
outcast, yeah.
Was that out behind the old mill or something?
Yeah, going down there.
You tired?
No, I'm just looking at the buttons and the thing Jim said or something.
Go on.
No, I'm not good.
Yeah, that was college kind of dominated.
I've seen this. It's like a look to them, isn't it?
Wow, yeah. Go down low.
Same with me. Yeah, man.
Yo,
can't beat it, man.
Yeah, man, I can't do it.
Don't worry, I knew what I should have said there, like,
Okay, I don't even know if to go on a boy for that.
That's what you did.
I just can't get you're only fucking sitting on it. If he's not driving, I don't think he's just sitting on it.
That's class, man. I hope you know you're playing that.
Talk about your collective. Talk
Tell
about.
us all about it.
Oh well, yeah, gladly will. So look, basically, like I said earlier, like, but what we're hoping to do now is that me and the lads are trying, because like I said, that we're at the recruiting so many fucking people now. It's like the fucking Wu-Tang Clan, man. There's so many of us, like, so you know. So I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, one thing we've to take into consideration is those everyday lives, and you know what I mean. Like Savage has a kid, for example, and a full-time job. Like some of the lads, same thing. Like they have to pay rent on the gaff, and you know yourself. Like so, I'm not gonna lie. Like at times it does be difficult trying to organise a few things. Like do you know what I mean. But what I'm hoping now for the future for the lads is for the remainder of the year at least is that we focus on our content. Like so, for example, like if one of the lads wants to release a single. Like, you know what I mean, I want to try and encourage the lads and facilitate them being able to release a bit of music, do you know what I mean? And we're aiming to do a few gigs. We had a few gigs there recently, like
I was actually at the Four Provinces one and the
Walkmans one, yeah. So
I could only come for a short time for the Four Provinces, but I was came up show. I seen was Sticky Rhino. I met him at Workman Cellar. We got off some random message I got was like, oh, would you be able to record a gig for Workman Cellar? I think we went that as well, no?
Yeah,
not the one just gone, but like the one for the college, no?
No, it wasn't.
No, it was for that.
Same idea, it's not just gone now.
Yeah,
Like, it was alright, like we recorded, got it going, like a few people banging into the camera and stuff. I was like, there's not much we can really do, but you know, the audio was fine. Then the next day, whoever was DJing, their DJ at the place fucked the audio, and there's only so much we could do with it. We tried, we sent it off to try to get, like, you know, because I was like, oh fuck, this is our first thing, we don't want to completely fucked, but it is what it is. That's it. And then that's how I met him, and he said, oh, you know, the Four Provinces. I said to the lads, you know, I'll just gig there on, but I was like, I'll just go because blah blah blah. And I tried to get a camera, you know, buy a camera as quick as I could. I couldn't, but I was like, I'll go anyway, just see what it's like, and just, you know, I went on my own. I wouldn't normally go to shit on my own that I don't really know anybody would. I was like, fuck it. And I seen this all there, and I was like, that's cool. I like that. I go, that's what I'm looking for. Something where I go, okay, what's going on this, you know, next month? Oh, there's this gig on here, and I go, grand, I'll book that in, and you know, book work off or whatever the fuck it is. But like, that's all deadly. I think there's just everybody showcasing their skills, and you know, have a great night about it.
That's the beautiful thing about them, and it's seeing like your younger brothers do that. Like, do you know what I mean? That's because see a lot of I think one thing we need to think of is the future, man, like our younger generations, like, you know what I mean, and you know, because we need to know each other. The reason I think that's essential is because, like, you know, it's just, if you look at the society we live in, you know, it's just heavy. We live in a chaotic world, man. Do you know what I mean?
You're not given a chance for that, in fairness. Like, thrown in the deep end, told deal with it, like, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean. So, but I think like music is what like, keeps us all together. Music is what guides people. Do you know what I mean? It's what protects them. It's what, like, you know. And that's why I genuinely like when I die, like, I genuinely want to leave something down to, if I ever happen to have kids one day, like, you know what I mean, I want to leave something down to them, but something they can fucking learn from, and you know what I mean, especially like the likes of Luke here and stuff, and you know what I mean, I genuinely feel that's important. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a cringy cunt. I actually think that's something, if you're an artist and you want to go the long haul, you do need to sit down and think about that. Like, what was your message? What was learned from it? What was the impact about? You know what I mean? Because as grim as it sounds, man, we, you know, today you're loved when you're dead. You know what I mean? You're only giving your flowers when you're dead. You're not giving them when you're alive. So, to be honest, as grim as it sounds, we've just come to accept that, unfortunately, that's just the way fucking things work nowadays. It's not good. So, if that's the case, then I'm gonna think about what I do. Well, I'm fucking here, like, you know what I mean? You know?
Leave your mark, as you said before, like. Leave your mark, as you said before.
That's
like.
what I'm saying, and that's what it's all about. Like, I think other artists should do the same and sit down and, you know, ask yourself, what's the message I'm trying to convey here? You know
what do you
I mean?
want from it? Basically, what do you need?
When you have kids, are they going to be able to sit down and take something from it? You know what I mean? You know, I do think it's important. Are your little brothers, or your nieces and nephews, your little sisters, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's vital, man. You know, and it's just like, you know, you listen to hip hop today, man, and like, it's just you know, like, I find a lot of young fellas, man, are just, they take it's their view is very misconstrued. You know what I mean? They don't, look, I feel like a lot of young fellas are afraid to be themselves, as we were discussing earlier, like, you know what I mean? And
it's all nullified, it's all a fake persona, like,
in a sense,
and look how great my life is, and I
That's
have loads of money, and look at me, sort of
You have to
thing.
have the best tracksuits, the best runners, you know, find women in the videos, and all, like, I've seen a few. One of the lads was saying to me, it was like real, like, they're really showed up at your man's grave, did the video there, and then slagged them off and all that. And it's like they're making it like they have to be gangsters or whatever. Not all of them, like, don't get me wrong, but like, I've seen some of these, and it's like they're obviously they're taking it too far, and like,
Watching too
some
much
of them will
love hate.
get caught up
That's
in
what it is.
that.
I'm watching too much.
I watch a love hate over in America, bro.
Over in America, they have certain shows. Though, you have American Gangster, for example, like fucking Denzel Washington, great movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, was
Shout out Denzel.
Over here,
Scarface, they all think that fucking.
I was overheard as well, like, obviously, like, you get, you know what I mean, that's what, look at what I was saying, like, and it's just, look, I'm not a fucking music critic, you know what I mean, as I was saying earlier, but like, I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to say no names out of respect. Like, I had a lovely young fella, and he was recording music one day, and it was like what I was saying about following the blueprint earlier, you know what I mean? He was rapping about doing Droid Boys and stuff, and like, you know, he comes from a good family, a good environment, a good road, good place, and you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to be a mad cunt. So I just pulled him aside and I was like, listen, bro, you're not doing that. You know what I mean? We know you're
not that boy, like,
you're not doing that, bro. You're a geek like me and the boys. Like, you're not going out doing Droid Boys, man. You know what I mean? And that's alright. You don't have to be a mad cunt. It doesn't make you any less of a man. You know what I mean? But you have a life, you have a story to tell. Tell it, man. You know what I mean? Don't be ashamed. Cunts want to hear about your perception, your experience, not, you know what I mean?
You never know who
goes
was there
back
to
to the
relate
art.
to you.
But that's what I'm saying, man. I was even saying it to one of the boys in the collective, you know, who does a bit of poetry and all. He wasn't doubting himself, but he was kind of just like a bit unsure on a couple of things. And I told him, like, he's gone to the open mics, and I told him, and I said, you know, like 95% of the room probably won't have a fucking clue what you're speaking about, but there'll be that one young fella down the back of the room one night who wants to do what you're doing, and will listen to every single word you've said, you know what I mean? And the fact that you're even up on the stage alone doing poetry, that'll convince him and say, I can do it now, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the balls, why
Exactly.
can't I do it? Like,
Exactly, do you know what I mean? So that's what I said.
It's leading by example there.
it is, man.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I said that to him. I was like, you can't, like, just out straight, like, 95% of the cunts in the room won't have a fucking clue what you're talking about, and they won't be interested. And that's just being facts, though. That is facts. Like, I'm not saying that to put them down. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, man. You know what I mean? Or maybe even 90%. But there'll be those few people in the room that will really appreciate your art and what you're doing. And that's a beautiful thing, man. And like I said, that one night there'll be that young fella, man, who will listen to every word you said, and you'll formulate his own perception of what you said, and it could mean the fucking world to him. You know what I mean? And it could really impact him, and then he's gonna go home that night and think about the fact that you got up and did that, and then he's gonna write like his third poem, but he's gonna do it with confidence and fulfillment, and he's going to be a little more introspective, or maybe he'll be retrospective, or maybe he'll have the confidence to finally put an articulate way of his view of the world on paper.
With it as well.
Just be fucking open with him, and do you know what I mean? And don't be afraid to do so. Do you know what I mean? It's vital, like, you know.
It's very hard though to get it's very hard to actually be open and express how you feel, like, especially with men, like, we don't get that opportunity at all.
And that's the elephant in the room we find nowadays, like, do you know what I mean? I find like a lot of these cunts, man, they call you cringy for wearing your heart on your sleeve, you know what I mean? But they'll be the very same cunts who are going through something, you know what I mean? And it's
push it down.
yeah, man, you want to help them too, like, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, man. It's a mess. Mental health, especially in music, man. I find mental health in fucking music, like, you know what I mean? Even like, you know what I mean? I got off Instagram, and I had to get off Instagram. Like, my account is still there, but I deleted the fucking app and I logged out because you know, I find, you know, when I'm not, before I get into it, I'm not like disrespecting anybody, because I'm guilty of it. I've gone on Instagram, fucking sick of this bollocks. You know what I mean? But
I done it on Facebook years ago. I had to get on Facebook for the boys.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I feel with music,
popular opinions and
yeah, but I feel with music,
arguing
man,
them points.
a lot of people, you know, especially with mental health, man, like musicians, like music, like I said earlier, man, can be a very fucking complicated and difficult thing, and the process can be very infuriating. And I find, like, social media, man, I can't stand social media, man, because it's so toxic and so fucking negative, man. It is the most, I hate it, I despise it, because, like, it really, man, there'd be many a time I'd be scrolling through Instagram and I'd see a story and it's someone talking about another artist, and you're just like, you know, they're just pure fucking despising this cunt, you know. Like, listen, I get it, you know what I mean? I get it. It's infuriating when you know you're a top tier lyricist, you're a top tier artist, you know, no one is paying the attention that you deserve.
You're looking at someone
yeah,
you
know, you're
That's like Snoop Dogg saying about
as well, like,
yeah, they were down there.
Like, it is art in a sense, like, as you would say, like, it wouldn't be your type of thing, like, but, like, it is a vibe for someone, like, you know what I mean? Someone's
is.
in a bad humour, they put that tune on, they can vibe with it, you know, it puts them in a better humour. But works for you, like, everyone.
You know what I've come to
you know
learn, man, is that, like, I feel like, I mean, I used to be like that, man. I used to be a very bitter and hateful person, like, and I do feel like social media contributed to that. Now, look, I take full responsibility. I'm a grown man. You need to learn these things. I'm glad I had the ability to reflect on this and realise I'm being very negative, like, do you know what I mean? But that's why I'm kind of, like, you know, I could never, I'm not a fucking music critic, man, you know what I mean? Who the fuck am I? You know, who the fuck am I to tell you?
You have your perspective.
Exactly, but it's all about perception, man. But that's what I'm saying, like, is even maybe, you know, but on social media, man, you just get people, like, you know, like I said, like, you know, just, oh yeah, fuck you, and, you know what I mean? Well, you know what, I'm sick of these cunts who are doing this and all. Look, don't get me wrong, look, I'm a human being. Obviously, there's a lot of things we disagree with. There's a lot of music I personally am not a fan of and I don't like, you know what I mean? But it just, I feel like, you know, there's a difference between being real and honest and them just being a negative cunt. Like, and we've been a negative cunt. I've gone on social media and been like, oh, you should listen to these cunts, but you won't listen to me. And then, like, looking back on that now, I'm morbidly embarrassed, because I'm like, what the fuck, like, but, you know, I had to get off it, man, because then, do you know what the problem is as well, is that there's a lot of young fellas looking at them Instagram stories, and then they're like, is he talking about me, man, what am I doing, you know what I mean? Then they start overthinking it. Yeah, it gets picked up wrong, and then cunts are arguing with each other on social media. It's like, man, you've kids to feed, and you're spending most of your day arguing with some cunt who doesn't care about you on social media, man. You've music to make, the other bloke has music to make. So like, you know what I mean, it's just, I've no time to hate anyone, you know what I mean, like I said, I might not agree with, you know, the way, I might not agree with the things you're saying, I might not agree with your, you know, the path you have walked, but at the end of the day, man, look, if you're happy, and you respect me, you know what I mean, then who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I to place judgment upon you? Who the fuck am I to, you know what I mean? It just is what it is, man.
You treat people like you want to be treated a lot as well. Like if you're spraying out hate all the time, like you're gonna get it back. You know what I mean? If you're showing love, showing respect to people, they have no choice but to give it. You know, you'll find the odd cunt that won't. Like, you know, and everyone, there's always them cunts out there.
You get the energy you put out usually. You know,
that's
what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Law of attraction and that.
Exactly,
like, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I do feel it's important though, man, like, because like there is kids, like for example, man, there's artists that they don't realise kids do look up to them, and I understand that's not necessarily their responsibility. They didn't sign up to be a fucking role model, but at the same time, man, you know, you should take the, in my humble opinion, not to tell you what to do. In my humble opinion, like, not to tell anyone what to do, you know what I mean, but I would advise that you take the position you have to educate the younger ones around you, man, you know what I mean, like, you know, because it's important, man. Like I feel, like I've had young fellas, again, not gonna say nothing, I had young fellas come up to me, this rapper said, you know, this about me, and said like I should do more this and that, and you know, or he said this to me, and I'm just kind of like, look man, just do you, you know what I mean, just do you, and you know, again, I'm not disrespecting anyone or I'm not trying to offend anyone by saying that, it's a messy fucking process, man, and social media I think really contributes to a lot of fucking negativity, man.
It's a lot of self-shame and people like, you know, hate themselves from like, oh look, their life is happy, why isn't mine? Like for me, like I follow more than follow me, which I don't care, but all I follow is like funny meme pages.
Yeah,
your Instagram page is gas, bro.
That's it. Like, all I do is like, I go there. It's like, oh, like, I love your page, or whatever. The stories is just constantly stupid funny, or like it can be, you know, inspiring, but usually it's stupid funny. But that's the majority of stuff I look, and I'll eventually see someone's, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
You know, keep winning. You know what I mean? Like, like mainly it's just stupid funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For me, but I don't know. I don't care about like whatever celebrity's doing really, unless I was like, oh, you know, let's say David Goggins. Okay, I'll follow him. I like his inspiring stuff, or Jordan Peterson, for example. You know, I know a lot of people don't like them, but I go.
Oh, I love listening to Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now look, like some of his beliefs like are a bit, you know what I mean, a bit far right.
Yeah, but you don't have to agree.
But they're not necessarily
everything. It's like I love certain people's mentalities when it comes to certain things. And I go, he's got it. He might now, like, let's say Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Like obviously, you know, he was actually, I think he put up, he said he's the most gifted man on the planet at the moment. But like obviously there's a lot of views that a lot of people don't agree with. But I think his mentality about a lot of things is good.
Yeah.
You know, but I wouldn't agree with everything.
Even Trump as well. This a bit. Put it out here for a minute, right?
Over here, don't my opinion.
Like he was wrong in a lot of what he done. He was like, and I can't justify the man for the person he is, but he had a lot of good views as well. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to say he's a good man. What I'm trying to say is, like, there's good and bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a balance. It's trying to find the balance. Like, there's always going to be things you agree with, always things you don't agree with. It's finding the balance and actually fucking understanding each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever be able to do that. Like, even with the likes of man Andrew Tate, like I find like what it's a very clever like marketing technique. Like, because
I think so. I think there's a bit of that too.
Let's keep it 100. Like, he knows.
I watched something. I see him as I think he was 19 and he was doing a show, and it's like to travel around to certain places and it's the best one wins, whatever. I didn't actually finish it, but he was still basically the same. Like he was like always playing the game, playing tactically, and I think that's because
absolutely
Dad was a master chess player.
The person he is, like he's strategic, like and how he looks.
It is, man.
That's his use, not because he's strategic.
That's the internet, though. That man, the one thing I'll give credit for is that he says the most controversial shit because he knows. Like you have to understand, he's at the setting up a structure. As far as I know, it could be wrong on this, but I think what he's at the doing is, if you share his shit, he pays you.
Yeah, he did.
Is that true?
He did do that, didn't he? Yeah, he did. So like that's why you have, you know, when you go on YouTube and you see 130,000 Andrew Tate
recommended just
fucking,
constantly.
yeah, it's just always
off,
on them little YouTube short jokes, and every video's a fucking. That's because like he set up a yoke, I think, where it's like if you sign up to his yoke and then repost his videos, he pays you. But see, it's clever because. That's what I'm saying. It's everything he's after doing is coming full circle. So people are sharing these controversial videos because he knows controversy is going to bring more views, and because people are going to make the effort to comment on it and be like, "This bloke's a fucking buffoon."
Negative or positive, the extremes will fucking.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing like it's clever.
Publicity.
It's immensely clever. Like that cunt is literally.
But that's strategic. Like he's using what he knows.
Yeah,
you know
but he doesn't realise like people are making the effort to go like, I don't agree with 90% of the things he says, but I'm not going to waste my time commenting on one of the videos.
I'm not going to let it affect your day.
Yeah, because that cunt is sitting in his gaff, worth 500 million
smoking a
quid.
cigar, getting
Puffing
a
a cigar, laughing at people.
What you say, though, Lewis.
Like, look, you admire his clever business tactics, but like you have to understand that's how the internet is nowadays. Is that cunts are gonna go online and they're gonna say like, you know, fuck this cunt, because they know if they say fuck this cunt is a man of high stature that majority of people respect and love. So when the one dickhead comes out and goes fuck that cunt, that dickhead knows that there's gonna be 100,000 people. He doesn't care if people are like, you're a fucking arsehole, because it's just bringing more attention to him. And that not only he might not profit from it financially, but he profits from it in many other ways. For like the attention, that attention will open up profit for him, because more people are going to tune in regardless of what platform he's on.
It's like McGregor with his fighting. Like obviously he was a great fighter, but also like his trash talk and all that shit all hyped him up, and that's what made him so popular.
Do you know, like especially the Americans, man, because they like the Americans just look at him like, obviously we understand the character, the charisma, the aggressiveness, the everything, obviously, because we come from the same place. Like, so when he's saying to Khabib like, you fucking mad backwards rat, man, show you in the bus, like, yeah, I mean, you're floating through town, man.
You're bored of towel.
Yeah, you could say, yeah, I mean, you're watching me DMs, like, obviously, like, you know, Americans are listening to that and they're like, you know, oh, that's hilarious, you know what I mean? But when we hear, yeah, oh my god, that's so funny, you know what I mean? But like, they don't get it though. They don't get it like we get it though, because when you're walking through like the likes of Crumlin and you're here, like, especially it's the accent, it's the delivery, it's the fucking, it's the body language, it's
we're not the best looking group of people, the Irish, like, but we do have a sense of personality.
But that was new to them. That was new to that's new to that type of audience.
So fucking racist though, like,
that was a brand new, like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. He changed the whole thing up. Like, that's what I'm saying. All of that shit, you have to understand.
This is here to take part, they're here to take over.
But this is the thing, like, is that
Good safe.
it's all you have to understand, man. Like, this is everything is controlled by business, and through business, these tactics are formulated in an office somewhere. You know what I mean? So they know why. I don't know, it could be wrong, and God forbid Conor McGregor sees this, because I don't want to get a roundhouse kick out. I'm walking home one day from getting a chicken fillet roll in the coconut in Morgantown and passing a Black Forge, and imagine he happens to see this and just, you know what I mean? But nah, look, it could be highly.
You'll be looking at a paycheck probably, but
nah, man.
No.
But you know what I mean?
No
like, the
paychecks worth the hell go that fella, man.
But I need the rap, man. I don't want me jaw wrapped around me for it trying to make rap music.
Playing with that, like, you know,
but like the point they're trying to make is that I guarantee you Dana White was like, I like what you're doing, keep this going. And that's not me saying that, like, but I guarantee you, like, you know what I mean, that it was like, right, we're making money from this. That's Dana White's point of view. I'm not saying that's Conor McGregor, but he pulled definitely, right, you know what I mean, give that cunt a bit of blah 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 and all.
You took a shit on the bus.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Like,
Dana wasn't doing
something like that. Anybody else did something like that, they'd be banned.
No,
you know, but like, there's no way that they can ban him. Like,
Conor was me hero, man. That's the truth. Like, I remember when he won, beat Eddie Alvarez, and fucking become the champ. Like, we'll never forget it. I was locked and a swigging out of a bottle of whiskey. Wasn't top at 12 actually. Sorry, Conor. If you ever heard this, but I remember it was 188 a week to the 2-time champion. The tears and all coming out of me. You know? I invested a lot into it. I did.
How did you feel when he lost?
Take a big. Khabib.
The
Nate one he
because I
took
remember
it well.
I was doing push-ups and all that. I was like, "Whoa." And then we like, when I was like, what?
That was a learning curve. You have that learning curve.
Why would I feel like so upset? You know.
When you lost to Khabib, when all the fucking madness and all happened after, like, I remember looking at it.
I remember saying that. I actually watched that night.
Like I wanted him to win so bad. Like, I wanted McGregor to win so bad.
Truth be told, I think fucking even the people that disliked him wanted him to win that.
I loved him.
Because he was just on such a good run.
Sure,
Again, I don't watch fighting. I'm no expert on the UFC. I don't like. There's a lot of people that invest that time into that.
A lot of people didn't really watch it, but watched his fights. Anyway,
I actually watched that. We actually like got that going in one of my mates' gaffs, and I was like, fuck it, like, it'd be a bit of crack to watch, like, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily tune in. I was a bit like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? When he lost that,
I wasn't big into it now before McGregor. I knew of it, like, I'd watch a few fights here and there, but since, like, the McGregor, like, it's like, I'd look into it a lot now. I'd watch only fucking, last night, did you watch the fucking fights last night, no? Amanda Nunes and fucking him. Oh, that was a knock, man. Both of them split open.
Was it last week? There was UFC on, wasn't it last week?
Last week as well. UFC on
it's funny because it was on fucking regular time for us because it was over in England anyway. But I missed most of it.
Yeah, the Paddy that's not last week. Yeah, it was last week, yeah. Molly McCann, the blue man.
And he did the teabag, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't
and you know what I love? He's like, I brought it back to Modern Warfare 2. That's what he said in the interview. And I love that. Just the old teabag on top, you know, when you slaughter.
It's like, what's teabag?
But he called it Modern Warfare 2.
I know, yeah.
It's like that, man.
What a mad cunt, man. But, yeah, like I was saying though, like even like I was saying about the business and the clever tactics, like that's what music is like nowadays, do you know what I mean? Well, not all of it, but like that's why like I find it's important as well to be your own boss. You know what I mean? Be independent.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, and but like be in charge of your, you know, like that's what I'm saying about the collective, man. Is we've now created, I might like kind of, you know, be the mentor, or you know, but I'm not. This is a level playing field, like, you know what I mean. I'm not above.
Everybody's equal.
Everyone's equal, man, and I've no creative control over nothing. It's not like that, you know what I mean. It's just, but I find like that's, you know what I mean. A lot of music, man. Like a lot of people are, you know, like it's the labels and all. Now I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily know about the Irish music scene and labels. I don't know how relevant like labels are. I know a couple of artists recently are getting signed, and fair play to them. You know what I mean. Good on them, and I hope it works out for them. And I genuinely mean that. Like, but you just. Like a lot of people, there is still those few people that are aspiring to get a record deal, and you have to be careful with that shit, man, because like I said, like they'll just take advantage of that, man. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot, even like
Hobson went through the fucking shit with, was it Rootless?
Yeah, Eazy-E's wife, man, Eazy-E's wife basically fucking at the bollocks,
Always been that would have been back even after like the...
What was that? That was around 2000.
Funk Volume was after.
It was before Funk Volume.
Yeah, no, but that was after, and they fucked them as well, like he got fucked out, and he basically created Funk Volume as well.
They released, him and your man Dion did that, but in 2007 he had an album, I think it's called Gazing at the Moonlight, I think it's called, is the name of his debut album, and that was released on Rootless Records, like, but
was Raw, was that no? Was
Raw was technically like
that was his first like proper.
No, 2000. So we had an album that came out in 2007 that was released on Rootless Records. The name of it could be incorrect.
Sure, actually, because Raw was after that.
Raw was 2010, we believe. You know what I mean? But he had an album in 2009, I think. But fucking anyway, he released the 2007 one on fucking Rootless Records, and he got fucked over big time, and obviously it was a bit of controversy because he's there like fucking ripping that piss out of Eazy-E's wife, like, so a lot of cunts are a bit like, you know, we're gonna kill this fella, like,
fucking god and the fucking
kickstarted it. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand, man. Hobson's not a fucking gangster.
George Washington, the fucking gangster that played.
Yeah, pretty much, like, you know. But man, and but that's the thing, man. Record labels, like, you know, I firmly believe you should go independent, man. Be in charge of your own music, be in charge of your own business, be in charge of yourself, be your own fucking boss, man. Because a lot, especially like, you know, you know, like, cause that's what I'm saying, man. Me and Rightwell were fucked over, not with labels, obviously, you know, but you know that naivety, man. A lot of people in music, you know, they target that naivety, man. Even if they're not a person that like has a business or something, but they'll, you know, just be careful. Always be wary of the people you surround yourself by. Always be wary of the people that want to, you know, participate.
because I know it sounds a bit cruel, it might sound a bit, you know, not to make it sound negative either, but it's the reality, man. It's the reality of it. Is me, you know, you have to be careful of the people you allow to participate in your art, and you know, if you're gonna turn it into a business, be very careful who you choose to participate and assist you with that, because you know, that's what I'm saying, man. Like we had cunts, you know, fuck us over, like, you know what I mean. Again, not gonna say names or anything like that, never, like, you know what I mean. But we just had, you know, we had things that turned from disagreements into spiteful actions, like, you know, that really kind of set us back in a sense. And man, so like I always find, like, you know what I mean, be very careful who you surround yourself with, and make sure that there's an authentic relationship there. Make sure intentions are laid out on the table, do you know what I mean, like pure intentions. And that's not going to happen a lot at the time. That's probably a bit far-fetched to say, like, do you know what I mean, but like, I mean, that's what I'm saying, when I'm surrounded by amazing people, you know what I mean, tell me what they want, they tell me what their intention is, but that makes the process much easier, because it's like, I can walk around that, you know what I mean. Like, for example, man, one of the boys, like, he you know, wanted to be paid for mixing and mastering my album, which is absolutely 100% fine, you know what I mean. You're doing a bit of work there, you know what I mean, but he was very hesitant on asking me, like, do you know what I mean. So I was kind of like, man, you have to vocalise this, because in 6 months time, like, I don't know what your intention is, I don't know what I'm doing, you know what I mean. I don't want you to, like, you know what I mean, that
feel taken advantage of, aren't like that.
Yeah, I don't want you to feel taken advantage of, like, do you know what I mean, because at the end of the day we might be mates and we're brothers, like, but you know what I mean, this is also business, man. You know what I mean, you're good at what you do and you deserve to be paid for it, do you know what I mean. And it's effort and time. See,
the way I know, it's just the example, I know that he looked at you as like a friend, both our friends, like,
absolutely,
you know what I mean, and that's where he wouldn't want to ask a friend, but at the same time, like, he's putting a lot of work into it, and he has to
absolutely
put a lot
but
into
that's exactly the point I'm trying to vocalise, was that don't tell you, like, that's fact, because I'm hardly gonna expect him to put nearly 6 months of his time into that for free, like that at the end of the day, that's more than an effort, like, because he's dedicating his full attention to making my project sound really good, like, do you know what I mean, and acceptable to the human ear, like, you know what I mean. But that's more than a task, like, you don't just simply do that for fun, like, mixing and mastering is an immensely difficult process, like, yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, and a lot of artists don't understand that, man, like, you know what I mean, is that
it's all fun when you're making it, but then to actually do it all that at the end,
that's
just,
yeah. I went to college and we were learning how to do that, and that was a fucking pain in the bollocks, man, you know what I mean. That was really a kick in the teeth trying to learn how to do that, like, because it can be very tedious, man, do you know what I mean, because especially, like, you have to understand there's different vocal ranges, especially a cunt like me, like, screaming when I'm recording, or 1 minute I'm like, the next minute I'm there screaming down a microphone, like, do you know what I mean.
Same with Carlos, like, he'd often do it for me, like, just doing it, like, I watched him do the process, and like,
that's what I'm saying, like
it's an easy enough process to do in a sense, but it's just one of them time consuming, like, not that it's easy, like, do you know what I mean, but like, it's just one of them things that it's very time consuming, and it takes a lot out of you to do it, like, you know.
I get one of the lads to, I said, like, when I, you know, I'm talking to someone about doing a music video, I was like, oh, look, you know, I'll do it for nothing, basically, but if you want the other guy in, my mate, he has good camera, good all this stuff, I go, he has to be paid. If I'm ever getting him in, he has to be paid. If it's a song that's good enough, and I go, I just want us to do it, so then we've done it, I'll pay him myself, you know what I mean. But like, it's that kind of thing. I go, like, he has to be paid, because, you know, he has to have a standard of, that's it. Maybe for now it's only for this much, but like, I know down the line I don't see why he wouldn't be getting loads of money for, like, because all the time and effort and knowledge he has, you know.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's nothing wrong with doing, if you're good at doing something, there's genuinely nothing wrong with turning it into a business, like, you know what I mean. And like, I feel like a lot of people get you know, because they don't want, you know, I feel like there's a few people that are afraid to say that, because they don't want people who do invest in their time in that, you know, like, if you have people that listen to you, you know what I mean, because there's people out there who tell you they don't do it for the music. They do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But that's what they don't want to call it up, because they're like,
because they don't want to make it out
this person's looking at me as a way of income now, like, they're
exactly
thinking, like, how the person's going to look at them for asking that question.
I do want to make a career out of this, but my main objective isn't, like, money. I don't want, like, I don't want millions, you know what I mean. I'd love to be able to make just a nice little basic living off of it, to where they can say, right, you know what I mean.
It's like an average wage, but then you're doing something you fucking love.
Just enjoy it, like, yeah, it's something you can enjoy doing. And yeah.
Reason one of the only things I'm good at, though. One of the only things I'm good at, though, is that.
Bit of tabac.
But it's one of the only things I'm good at, you see, you know what I mean. If anything is the only thing I'm good at is, like, hip hop, and I firmly believe that, like, you know what I mean.
I'm a bollocks, like, and I know, like, you never know, cunts will be listening to this now and be like, he's a fucking Phil, but I'm a bit of a fucking bollocks when it comes to like keeping a job, like, because it's not that I don't want to work, man.
The
And
passion isn't there.
that is definitely a contributing factor. That's definitely a contributing factor. I was even saying this to him on the phone the other day to himself. Like, it's difficult, man. It is. Like, and I know there'll be people looking at this saying he's a lazy fool and stuff, and that's alright, man. You know what I mean? But it's more than that. And like, you know what I mean? I'm a creative. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm not going on as if I should be excluded. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find something that I can tolerate, that I can wake up in the morning and be like, right, grand, I can do this, like, do you know what I mean? And that is fucking difficult, man, do you know what I mean? Now, I'm lucky enough to be in the position that I can say that, like, do you know what I mean? Obviously, we were talking earlier about, like, people have kids and stuff, so unfortunately, they're not in a position where they can just turn around and be like, yeah, okay. They, you know what I mean, they have, you know, put food on the table, you know what I mean? I'm grateful enough that I'm not in that position just yet, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean? It's just, it really does play in on your mental health, man. Like, you know, when you wake up and you're fucking going to a dreadful kip that really weighs in on your mental health, like, you know what I mean? And some cunt is screaming in your face, and you know what I mean? And it's complicated, man. There's a lot of things that go into it, like, you know what I mean? Am I qualified enough? You know what I mean? And it's complicated. And then if I get a job, like, you know, I'm trying to, you know, you're trying to look for something part-time, but then, like, you know, do you have enough money to fund the music? And obviously people are like, save, but then you have bills to pay, like, you know what I mean? Like, we do have fucking bills to pay, like, do you know what I mean? I might not have a child, I do have bills to pay, like, do you know what I mean? To survive, if they eat, you know what I mean? And then it's kind of like, you know,
even if you're working full time, you can't afford to eat in this country. Not being funny, bro.
No, you can't. That's the thing as well. If you're working, like, you
can't afford a roof over your head in this country.
No, it's mad.
Unless you like find a good board with a decent income as well, or unless you fucking have friends.
And you just come together and you just come out.
No disrespect any of the boys around, but I couldn't trust them around Kelsey, like, you know what I mean? It's very hard to find friends that you could, like, with me, especially with my daughter and all, like, cause I can't ask them not to bring a board back if they have a board, you know what I mean? And I can't really have that environment around my child, like.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's what I'm saying, man. Like, even it's just, it can be a complicated process, man. It really can be. Like, even like, I remember when I've had jobs where it was just like genuinely fucking depressed, like, but I felt like it'd be the end of the world if I left it, like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to genuinely just go full time into the music now, like, you know what I mean? And I know that sounds a bit mad, like, you know what I mean? But it's just like I've had full time jobs and then by the time I got this,
geniuses have been called mad over the years, Casey.
Oh, plenty of them.
Every one of them, every single one of them.
That's a fact, man. I'm gonna take like nothing that, you know what I mean?
You're not
far from crazy, bro.
Yeah, no, not completely unstable, but like,
no, but I'm going to be
not completely stable,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, besides me missus and the boys, like, all that's on my mind is rock music and lyrics and how to become. You know, that's a great concept for an album. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? There's 16 bars, blah blah blah. I think about it all the time, and it's constantly on my mind, and it stresses me the fuck out too, because I'm kind of like, yeah, that's great.
You're obsessed.
I am.
That's the basics of like going to. You know where you want to go. Like,
it's good motivation.
Everything's telling you to go that way, and you have to.
That's what I'm saying, man. Because it's just, and it's not only that, man. It's like I was saying to you earlier. It's the legacy part that is so important to me, man. Like, I'd love, you know, it's not an ego thing. It's not narcissism. It's not. It's just I'd love, like, as you know, as cringy as it sounds, man. I'd love to, like, you know, make a blueprint for young fellas, man, and young ones, or anybody, you know what I mean? I would love to make that blueprint that somebody could follow, you know what I mean? Because like I said, when we were growing up, we didn't necessarily have that, man, and that was what I'm saying. Even growing up, like, trying to get into, you know, we didn't have the blueprint that I wish we could have had now looking back, like, you know, and that's fine, like, you know what I mean? Because your past kind of makes you who you are, and everything happens for a reason. But I'd love to be the blueprint for the generation, man, you know what I mean? With a good education, like, to educate them properly, like, do you know what I mean? In regards to, you know, not only music but life as well, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this fella's only 19.
You.
Certainly.
You know, but yeah, man.
Only a bleeding nip I am, man. Start now.
Plenty of talent.
Thanks. Appreciate that, bro.
When I was 19, I was fucking in the Plaza Hotel.
Oh yeah.
Say no more. Don't even say that more.
Nothing good happens there.
Fuck's sake.
But that's the thing, man, as well, is that, like, you know, it's good. Like, one thing I do love about the art in Dublin, like rappers and stuff, man, is that there is a lot of them that bring awareness to the things that occur in our areas. Bring awareness to mental health, like, you know what I mean, bring awareness to things that need to be talked about, you know what I mean? And they have the courage to do it. It's not easy. That's one thing people forget about, man. It's not easy to portray yourself out into the open world, man. It's not easy at all, you know what I mean? Like, my dad was listening to one of my songs there recently, like, you know what I mean? My dad's like, what, 63, 64 years old, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, he was listening to one of my tunes. He was listening to Humble Beginnings too, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, he was just, you know what I mean? I was a bit shocked he listened to it, you know what I mean? It was a bit like, oh, bollocks. You know what I mean?
How is he gonna take this?
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of things that occurred in my childhood and teenage days that you never told me that, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
But you're not that age
I only gotta
now,
go into the gaff and be
basically,
like, yeah, burn down a few cars.
What's he gonna ground you, you know?
It's not that, man. It's,
I know what you mean, though. I know what you
I
mean.
won't be in the studio today, boy.
You're not allowed to Lewis Charles.
Can't make it to that podcast later, boys, and grounded.
It's not even that, man. It's like I said, yeah, I mean, I just like have a lot of those chapters in my life hidden from my family because they were just mad fucked up, like, do you know what I mean? They were mad fucked up, man. You know what I mean? Went through things as kids that no child or human should ever have went through, like, so, you know, when I document them, like, obviously, like, I'm kind of wondering what my dad think when he hears them. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like fucking hell, you know, so, do you know what I mean? Like,
that's also part of not letting what anybody thinks affect you.
I find that's the most difficult.
Yeah, I know, because the family is just like...
That's what I'm saying.
Not everybody has that kind of view of their family. Some people like don't care, or they're not even friends with their family, or they don't even like them at all. But like when you're close enough, and that it'll hurt more if they didn't like it. You know what I mean? Rather than you might not care what anybody else says, but you do care what they think.
I do, but it's not that. I just don't. You know what I mean? You know what it is, man, is that like I'm grateful. Look, I grew up, man, a lot of my friends were fatherless or motherless when we were growing up. I was the lucky one in my friend group out of a couple of us that actually had a full family in the picture, do you know what I mean? And the reason, like, reason I'm saying that is because, like, you know, it was just the point I'm trying to make is that you know, you just you know, my dad, like, I don't want my dad being like, you know, oh, why wasn't I there, like, you know what I mean, or blah blah blah, like, he was fucking there, do you know what I mean, he was there, but I was just out in the streets acting like a fucking mongo, you know, and being misguided and trying to fit in and all, so, you know, you do something.
I was very lucky with my family, bro, like, genuinely. My man only 14 when she had me, but, do you know what I mean, the best I had, like, do you know, she's fucking excellent, like, as a mother, like, fucking couldn't ask for a better mother. Like, never knew me real dad, but then, like, I have my stepdad, like, who's been with me when I was 4. So, like, he's like me fucking rock, like, you know, basically, it's a good more than he's one stamp of him, like, you know, like, you know what I mean, like, he's the one who'd fucking take most of my inspiration from, like, it's weird I'm looking at Kelsey, like, and then, like, you know what I mean, I have to teach her, like, he taught me, in a sense, you know what I mean, like,
That's that's what I'm saying, man. And, like, the reason I said that though is because that's one of the main reasons I do it. Like, it really is, man. Is because, like, a lot of my mates, like, you know, they I'm like the bigger brother. Do you know what I mean? And that's not like an ego thing.
No,
it's just
I've seen that from when I've been there. Like, you were very like inspiring to her. You know,
Casey adopted us. Casey adopted us.
you know, like some of the boys in Crumlin, like, you know, they I wouldn't necessarily say depend on me, but they would come to me if they have any issues or not.
They look for your wisdom. Like, obviously you're wise and what you know what I mean?
I suppose I try to be, you know what I mean? Because you know, Black Thought said it, like, and obviously someone said it a million years before him or something, but I just heard it from Black Thought in one of his freestyles. He was like, a fool thinks he's wise, a wise man knows he's foolish.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just that's what I'm saying, man. Like, that's one of the reasons I do it, man, because a lot of the boys, like, you know, a few of them just grew up without a father, so they didn't have that. Or some of them were the eldest in their family, and they had no father, so they had to be.
They didn't know older brother either, or something like that. You know?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? They had no, so they had
I'm
no
the
guidance,
eldest
man.
in my family, like I'm looking at me little brothers and sisters, like what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Love them all, like, but like I'm like, looks trying to get arms on it, you know,
that's a very big responsibility, like, and it's you know what I mean? It's just, I just.
Well, it helped me as well, like with me people, like sort of, like me interactions with people and all, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. A sense of understanding really brings you far, even though I obviously wouldn't understand what it's not like. I think it's very important to be empathetic in them situations, you know what I mean? It's you know, that's what I'm saying. I grew up with a lot of young fellas who went through very hard times and went through different struggles to what I would have went through, like, and they were always misunderstood. You know what I mean? And not even just me mates, man, just a lot of people have come to meet over the years that have gone through unimaginable trials and tribulations. They were always misunderstood. There was never anyone there for them. You know what I mean? Mothers and fathers have probably passed, or they just unfortunately weren't there in the situation. And you know what I mean? Obviously, like, drug addiction is a very big thing, like, and it's very prevalent in our society. It's fucking it's horrible, like, do you know what I mean? And it's one of the main reasons that they want, man, you know what I mean? I want young fellas to be able to listen to my music and be like, you know, I don't need to go out and get a Canada Goose Jack at the fair, I don't need to sell a bit of sniff, you know what I mean? I don't need to do that. And obviously, look, I'm not saying, like, you know what I mean, there's obviously, look, I don't know what position you're in life, and that when I say I don't need, or like
No, you don't need it, like, you don't have, someone out there has so many bills to pay, all this other shit, and that's probably their only viable option.
This is what I'm saying.
Like, they're providing a service to the community. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, look, I'm not judging.
Someone's going to do it, and they have their reasons. They're right. They might not be actually scumbags. Do you know what I mean? They do it just for the hustle. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's all about, like I said earlier, it's all about perception, man. I've met people that have been on that side of society, and that I'm not even trying to be funny, man. They're the nicest people you'll ever meet, but unfortunately, they just have to take a route that is very fucked up to feed their fucking kids, like, do you know what I mean? Because they might not be fucking qualified enough to keep a job. They might not be qualified enough to even get a good one that's even good enough to pay the bills.
Even if you get a job, like you said, it's fucking mental warfare every day.
Exactly, man. There's a
like,
lot.
if you're not a job that you enjoy doing, like,
that's one of my problems.
Do you enjoy your job?
Yeah, for the most part I do, like, you know,
like
Casey will tell you that, like, I just do.
I worked with Savage.
You're just a buzzer anyway, don't you? You buzz off people, and that's.
And I'm happy to be the whole time, bro. And obviously not always, like, you know what I mean? But like, don't get me wrong, job isn't perfect or whatever. Like, I have my days where I come in and I'm fucking dragging my feet or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but majority of the time, I have a positive mentality most of the time, really.
Positive mentality.
Yeah, me and Casey used to work together.
Ah, man, it was quality. It was a quality buzz, like, it was a quality buzz. But that's the thing, man. Like, even meeting Savage and Jimmy and stuff, like, it was an amazing.
That's exactly how we met, man.
It was
from day one though as well. Like, me and you click like that same.
Okay, well, lads.
See us later, boys. Have a good one, yeah. Respect. Love yous all. These are little.
Now, we had Curtis, he left. He had to leave early. Whopper on the drums anyway. Is that what it's called? A drum?
A drum machine.
Drum machine. No,
drum pad, drum machine.
I've never seen someone up close on it, really.
It's a piano, bro.
It's a piano?
Yeah, it's called a piano, yeah. It's called
fuck off.
It's called a
violin.
I've seen you playing North with Spouty before.
We'd be awful at this show. I can't take this serious.
No, it's good having you on, lads.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to get to know you better. You know, obviously I've mentioned Curtis is a shame you had to bounce, but I'm sure we had Jimmy the Bastard on the call, but
the mic got a phone just morphed into a microwave. We tried to have him on.
It was good crack.
Sounded like Wayne shit after all that corn.
Before we hop off,
I'm the real machine gun.
Oh yeah, I hope you know that Curtis left you to go watch the Elvis movie. That's how unimportant you are to him.
Yeah,
Luke.
I didn't think that would hurt as much as it did.
Fair, I'm into the Elvis fella, like, you know what I mean?
That sounds pretty sexual. Like,
no, like, my early music for me, like, I started off with like a bit of Elvis, a bit of Michael Jackson, like, you know what I mean?
You
ain't on the man.
Like Michael Jackson was controversy, but Elvis had a bit of surrounding it as well. Like,
So he
That's
died
some
in the
good
toilet.
shits, bro.
Didn't he? Speaking of shits, yeah, he did die on the Jackson.
But
Yeah.
imagine dying on the Jack's comment.
Eating
Yeah,
a
just
sandwich.
going to drop a solid deuce. Yeah, he was eating a sambo, wasn't he? Yeah, you're eating a
I
soup,
don't know if that's
mate.
just Eminem,
See,
but
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
That's been said. I don't know how true it is. I wasn't in the Jack spot with the cunt, but like, I mean,
He was eating.
yeah, we can come
once in
through.
a while,
Yeah,
laughing
he
you.
was.
I was writing his autobiography for him and he just died. I was, but what I was gonna say, that's immensely disrespectful. Like, but
yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say. What was Before I leg it, want to shout out a few of the boys. Shout out to Daily. You know what I mean? Give me big up, brother. You know what I mean? Shout out to everyone in Collectiveyez who couldn't be here, cause yeah, you know what I mean. There's
They're all
like
back
fucking
in
12 of us, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice one for having us on the podcast,
No,
bro.
it was
Genuinely
great having his
appreciate
own.
that.
Great crack.
Thank you,
That's
man,
it.
cheers.
Honestly, back on again, do basically the same shit but different day. You know what
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
I mean? I know the shit topic.
Yeah, man, we talked a lot of bollocks.
Oh man,
Absolute
like,
facts.
nearly 4 hours worth of shit.
Yeah, we
But,
talked a
it'll be
lot
slick.
of shit, man. So if you do tune into this, like, just a little
Fair play,
disclaimer, like, yeah, we're
Not.
we're not as saying as you we're not saying as you think we are, man. We talked a lot of shit. We talked a lot of dirt. Good dirt, though.
Good
do you know what I
dirt,
mean?
We know you're all out of danger, wank, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, man. Fucking hell.
Sorry for sending home the fucking spiritless assassin to take out.
Goodbye.
Make sure to tune into the podcast.
Yeah, yeah, but that.
Family
Copyright.
Guy.
Copyright.